Christine, where do the grandkids get their athletic prowess from?
Well, I always say it's me, but I can't really. I mean, I don't know if you're aware of it, but you're looking at the champion athlete of Perth Modern School in 1957.
I love it. And is sport a huge thing for your family? I'm told, obviously, I mentioned that Joe and Ella were born a week apart. So, family Christmas and those things, Matt, is it pretty competitive?
Oh, it was probably more competitive when they were younger. But, I don't know, they probably don't catch up as much as they used to, but there's always a bit of banter. Yeah.
Meredith, I've got to ask, the nicknames. Smoke and Joe, Fontempelli. Do you have a preference for any of the nicknames we give Joe?
Look, we hate Fontempelli.
Yeah, he's his own man, right? He's his own person.
Correct. And Jesse Hogan stitched him up by saying that he calls himself Fontempelli. He's never done that. I just need to clarify. We like the font. That's all right, isn't it?
The font's more than enough, I reckon. Yeah. It's fantastic. Matt, was Ella always big into the footy?
Yeah, always, yeah. I mean, she was always pretty sporty at most things. She phased out for 1 year and tried a couple of other things, but always came back to footy and said that it was obvious that she wanted to play footy when she sort of departed for that short period. But yeah, always been footy, and always, as I think everyone's aware, grew up playing it from a very young age through Auskick and that.
Big W season coming up for Ella and the girls?
I would like to think so. I mean, you don't want to get ahead of yourself, do you? But it's looking positive. It would have been nice to have done probably a little better in the practice matches, but, I think Daisy's done wonderful things and they're going very well.
Christine, is it as simple as Giants in the men, Eagles in the women?
I've hated football for 60 years.
But here you are as a proud grandmother, which is.
I've had to turn right around and become interested and learn what a mark is. And now it's been a laugh because I didn't know anything about football and I had to have it all explained to me. So I'm with it now. I can tell you anything except that damn rule when it's a one where they quarrel over who falls when they fall over. Is it a throw up or is it a he was pushed the man or something rather? There's confusion.
Pushing the backhand. Well, neither do we half the time. Great to meet you. Enjoy the day, guys.
Thanks a lot, Brett. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Brett.
That was fantastic. Christine Roberts with Meredith Fonte and her brother, Matt Roberts, who is Ella's dad, Joe Fonte's mum there as well. It's a proud sporting family from WA as the Giants make their way out onto the Sydney Showground.
Great chat, Spriggy. Ella Roberts is one of the absolute best in the AFLW.
Two-time best and fairest, two-time All-Australian at the age of 21.
Superstar, and Joe Fonte's talents coming through as well. So the bloodlines are clearly very strong. What a special day for the family.
Well, keeping an eye on a few things, by the way, as we go here. So, speaking of talented West Australians, Cameron Green is 89 not in Darwin. Australia 8 for 257, lead by 29 runs with 2 wickets in hand. So, of course, they've already forced the fourth innings and made Bangladesh bat again when that time comes. Late on day 4, or sort of midway through day 4 now, but Cam Green 89, Nathan Lyon on 5. Of course, you can find full coverage of that via ABC Listen. Just look for the ABC or the cricket ball button to find coverage of that. And also the AFLW, so I mentioned the game to come later on here today. The game's underway. So Brisbane leads Essendon 8-6-54 to 1 straight 6 at Windy Hill. Half-time there. In Adelaide at Unley Oval, the Crows lead the Swans 6-7-43 to 4-4-28. Freo plays Port at Coburn later on today, and the Giants and the Eagles here at the Sydney Showground. Of course, the other men's games coming up, the Bulldogs and Carlton, which is a hugely consequential game as far as the wildcard makeup there, and Essendon versus Sydney. The Swans have all but assured themselves of top 2 now with that draw last night between Hawthorn and Collingwood, but of course the Swans can make sure of that by beating the Bombers at the MCG in the final game of round 23.
Big team news. A date change for the Giants. Toby Bedford is out. So his 100th game last week, struggled to get going after quarter time with a back problem. Surprisingly was named to play today, but has not got through the warm-up. So Toby Bedford out, Connor Stone in, Ryan O'Keefe, Jason Saddington. That's another big midfield name out for the Giants. Of course, still no Tom Green, no Finn Callaghan, a number of other major injuries. That'll give West Coast fans just a little bit more optimism, I would think, coming into today.
Yeah, definitely. He's obviously a good player, but I think he probably would have been under the cloud, and we'll give you right up to the warm-up to be ready. So I think as a club they were prepared for this. It was probably highly likely this was the case. So I think it won't disrupt the Giants' plans, because I think that was already sort of planned.
Yeah.
Scoreline last week didn't flatter the Eagles against the Pies because they were beaten quite convincingly in contested ball, inside 50s, clearances. The one area you would think the Giants certainly have their number is in attack. Is if you look at last week's game at Perth Stadium, West Coast leading in scores from half of Collingwood's inside 50s, and the Pies have not been a strong attacking side this year, whereas the Giants, ordinarily do have the guys up forward, big and small, that can get them a score.
Yeah, well, they do. I mean, the Giants often generate a lot of their attack from half-back players like Lockie Ash and Lockie Whitfield and the Fonty. We're not calling him Fontempelli anymore, Garby. The Font. Generate a lot of their attack, but partly that's because their midfield have been struggling as well. So the ball generally ends up back half, and that's when the Giants are able to generate that orange tsunami and get their game going. And that's probably no different today. Obviously, with Bedford out, impacts that even more, Garby. But you look for West Coast. I mean, that's their advantage. Kelly and Reid. I'm tipping Harley Reid's probably going to run amok a little bit today. They're going to win the ball from midfield. So what they do from there, West Coast, is they've just got to get their pressure on the Giants through that, the West Coast front half of the field. And if they can limit the Giants' run, then, it makes it difficult for the Giants to get their game going and get in that forward 50 the way they want to.
A question for you, Sato. Ryan O'Keefe never went through this because his Sydney teams were always competitive.
Yeah.
But West Coast have become competitive near the bottom of the ladder this season after going through the doldrums, of course. They suffered 10 of their 20 heaviest losses in history in the last 5 years. So that was the remit for Andrew McWelter. Yep. They've achieved that. They're matching it with the best teams, but they're not getting the wins.
Yep.
You were in a Carlton team that was in a similar situation in the early 2000s. Yep. Can you get stuck in a rut, if you like, of being happy with honourable losses and mentally struggling to get over that hurdle of actually getting the wins because everyone says, well done, you matched it with a good team, and you get stuck in that mode a little bit too much?
Yeah, a little bit. You can. I mean, you come up against really good teams, you put in a good performance and you're in the game, but you don't quite get it done. You kind of, you do think, okay, well, our best isn't too far off, but then, I mean, you still go into every game, though, going, okay, maybe today's the day we can win. And you go into each game thinking that's what you can do if you play your best footy, but the inconsistencies come, and that comes a little bit because you might be a young side, or you got different players in and out, or it's just because of where your form's been at. So I would think West Coast would look at a game like today and go, well, this is winnable. We're a chance. If we can play our best footy, we'll give it a crack. We're okay periods last week against Collingwood. The Giants, they've been average across the past month. We're a chance. So they'd certainly come in with that and probably expect to win. Whereas if, going back to your point, Garby, if they're coming up against a Freo or a Swans, they're probably, you do sort of tick the box sometimes when you do have a close loss.
Do you think that's a little bit on the leadership of the club and the coach, whether they accept that or not? I reckon, going back, I think early on when I first got to the Swans, that mediocrity was sort of accepted, and then when Roosie sort of came in, and you mentioned before off air, Sato, when you had Pagan, that was not accepted.
Yep.
Doesn't matter who you're against, and the leaders in your club too, which probably with West Coast, as they don't probably have a lot of leadership there to go, hey, no, this is not good. Losing's losing, regardless whether it's honourable or not. We've got to do what we can to try and win.
So Eagles fans are pondering that with Andrew McWelter right now. There's no doubt the team is improved. That has been clear to see. But the win-loss rate is still below par. So Eagles fans are wondering, okay, he's definitely a good coach. The game plan looks good. He's improving the way in which the team performs. But is he tough enough to inspire the team to get over the line in unexpected situations enough? And he's going to get next year. He's got one more year in his contract. But next year, there's no caveat. There's no asterisk of you are competitive. He's got to get that team to 7-8 wins minimum, or he won't be there the year after.
Totally.
There's going to be huge pressure going into next season.
Yeah, and I think that's your point. If this is the same season next year, he's not there.
100%.
So that's the West Coast philosophy and I guess the overall read on their culture. The big picture conversation now around the Giants as well is what their list looks like in the coming months. Is this Toby Green's last game at home? We think so. Stringer, Hogan out the door potentially as well, and a number of players have their future under a cloud. So it all sort of weaves into, yes, mathematical chance of being wild card, but the Giants now have this fascinating next couple of weeks, their last 2 games, Adelaide away next week, and then what it all looks like from there for Adam Kingsley in his last year of a contract as well.
Well, you've heard me speak about it numerous times during this back end of the year. They're going to change their game style, their attacking game style. I just think it used to be good, but teams have figured it out, and I just think the way the happy handball, the turnover, it just doesn't work. And I think he needs to change and tweak his game style.
You think we'll see a big possession game today because the Giants have conceded a lot lately from forward half clearance. So if West Coast can, lock the ball in their own half, which traditionally has been where the Giants move the footy from, that back half, but maybe they can attack the Giants in that area today, the West Coast Eagles. Let's get a feel for things on the boundary line. We're in the front row. Declan Byrne is there for us again. Hello, Deck.
G'day, Spriggy. Yeah, it is. It's turned out to be an all right day. It was raining all morning, but the clouds above are holding off at the moment. There's actually some blue sky, some sun, so hopefully we see it stay dry for the game. It's about 17 degrees. No real breeze so far, although they say it might pick up across the afternoon. As Garby mentioned, Toby Bedford are laid out after getting injured in his 100th last week, so in comes Connor Stone. Big game as well for Nick Madden. Sado mentioned off the top how massive Bailey Williams was when they first played in round 10. He had 26 disposals, 2 goals, 41 hit-outs. Nick Madden, who a lot of people are saying Briggs mightn't be in GWS colours next year. Yep. Big game for Madden tonight.
True that. Thank you, Declan Byrne. Liam Duggan wins the toss, and the Eagles will kick towards Stadium Australia, the right of your screen, or ABC Listen. Toby Green lost the toss. Speaking of Green, Cameron is on 96 in Darwin. So 8 for 2, 6-7. Australia leads Bangladesh now by 39 runs with those 2 wickets in hand.
A Cam Green century, a West Coast win. It could be a public holiday in WA tomorrow.
Well, you've got us
apart from the Dockers persuasion.
You've got us loud and clear, pumping through your speakers out there in the West and on News Radio here in Sydney as well. Brett Sprigg alongside Daniel Garb, Jason Saddington and Ryan O'Keefe. West Coast has not tasted victory away since round 3. It's Port this year, so road wins have been hard to come by. Just the one win away in the last 2 seasons was that win at Adelaide Oval in round 3. Giants have won 5 of their past 7 against the West Coast Eagles, and the West Coast have lost 3 in a row here at the Sydney Showground. Repeating, no Toby Bedford, he is out. Connor Stone comes in, the late change there for GWS. Just the one change for the Eagles with Hamish Davis in the side this week, replacing Bo Allen. Last couple of thoughts, Sado, Pebs, break it down for us, West Coast and the Giants.
Yeah, well, I think a big one for West Coast is their pressure game. So if they can just pressure the Giants, not let them get their running game going, I think that goes a long way to them winning this game of football. But they need to maintain that for the full 4 quarters. Giants, they love the energy, they love the momentum. If they are able to do that, they're going to be tough to beat at home.
Let's get going here. Sunday footy on ABC Sport, and Daniel Garb is with you.
Liam Baker playing up forward for West Coast. Bailey Williams with the first tap straight down to Harley Reid. Good tackle, though, by Harry Rouston. Wasn't a good tackle, in fact. He caught Harley Reid high. So, a free kick to West Coast to start this encounter. And it's with the informed Harley Reid, who pumps the Eagles into attack. Waterman will fly, so will Shanahan. Couldn't bring it down. Big leap, though, from the youngster. Lockie Ash off a step, tries to clear defensive 50. Liam Duggan gets a foot to the ball to put the Eagles back in a strong position. And then he's tackled, the West Coast co-captain, by Stephen Cornelio. We'll have a ball up for West Coast at left half forward, just outside attacking 50.
Great fly there by Shanahan. He's a young player that's shown a lot of promise. That's what we like to see, your key forwards fly and bust a few packs.
But every game this year as well, round 2 rising star nom Jobe Shanahan. As Brown wrapped up down there by Brady Hoff. Ball trickles toward the outer side. Gathered here now by Joey Delana. Western Sydney product goes inside forward 50. Cabin on the lead. Marks now 55 from goal. The left footer squares it now to find Thomas, who marks uncontested. 40 out directly in front. It wasn't quite the tsunami, but the build will get okay there for the Giants, and Harvey Thomas will take the first good look at goal here. 40 out directly in front.
That's what they've got to do, mate. They've got to get rid of the tsunami. They've got to play a more kick-mark game, be more precise with their kicking, and they've got Mark inside 50 having a shot.
There was a lot of space. Harvey Thomas over the side of the ground. Yeah, West Coast got to cover that up.
Turned 21 last week, Harvey Thomas. Kicked a goal, had 20 touches against the Gold Coast Suns That narrow loss in Canberra. He trots in, kicks from 45, and it sails through. Giants on the board first here at the showground. 1 straight 6. West Coast yet to score. We've played 2 minutes. Sunday footy, ABC Sport. Jason Saddington and Ryan O'Keefe.
Well, Harvey Thomas is one of those players. I think there's opportunities playing in the midfield to get more minutes and prove himself and say, look, next year I want to be part of this strong Giants midfield. Like, you obviously expect Finn Callahan and Tom Green to come back. He could be that player that just adds a little bit of a dimension amongst those two Bulls.
Yeah, well, he's got class, Harvey Thomas. I mean, he's always been small, and that's why people are probably a little bit afraid to put him in the middle, but he's always shown he's a very, very clever player. He uses the ball well, he's smart, and he's had a breakout year. He's certainly been terrific, very consistent out in the wing. And speaking of in that play, another player that had a breakout game last week, Joey Delano. Great to see him getting his opportunity, a local Western Sydney product.
Giants strike first, 1 straight 6. West Coast yet to score. Another good tap from Bailey Williams, though, down to Tim Kelly, who was held without it by Cornelio. Plays on quickly now from the free kick. Eagles go deep into attack. Waterman with the fly, punched away from him by Sam Taylor. Here's Baker starting up forward. The handball was overcooked, though, over the head of Bailey Williams. Dersma couldn't gather it. Murdoch does. Williams to Graham. Reed's kick wasn't clear of the area. Falls in the lap of Tom Cole. And Callum Brown tackles him. Ball up just outside 50 for West Coast. Really good defence there from the Giants. Stop the Eagles having a shot on goal. Williams with another clean tap down to Graham, but Oliver's able to clear the area with a hand pass.
Cornelio dispossessed and now run toward the boundary line down there by Brady Hoff.
You can see the Giants are worried about the West Coast stoppage. They've got Brown and Stringer right up into the stoppage as high forwards, which is creating a bit more space head of the ball for Cadman.
Well, they have to limit. There's centre clearance, so obviously you can't get the numbers in there, but it's already 2-zip West Coast.
Bailey Williams versus Nick Madden in the ruck, and Williams runs out of room, out of bounds once more. Good news for Cam Green believers, 100 in Darwin, so I'll bring you the audio at half-time maybe, but Australia now 8 for 2, 7-4. So Cam Green still batting with Nathan Lyon. He's past 100 as the West Aussie all-rounder. Cornelio breaks the pack here for the Giants, sends them forward of halfway. Cadman waits back there. Clean pick up for the Eagles in defence. Hoff receives a hand pass back there from Rhett Bazzo. They'll rebound here, the Eagles. Yo, hand pass off to Cole, premiership teammates. Bursting through here, Starcevic on the entry. A little too low down there for Baker. Hand pass off to Waterman on the finish from 30 out. That's what he can do. Jake Waterman on the run with the finish, gets West Coast first. Of course, he's had the yips at times with his set shots, Jake Waterman, but now 47 goals on the year, 52 behinds, but he gets West Coast first today here in Sydney. 1 straight 6 apiece, 4.5 gone in the opening term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
What about the pick-up by Baker? Off his bootlaces there was sensational, but you see the West Coast, they just want to run off half-back. Starcevic coming through there. But it came off again, another turnover.
Yep.
Cornelio, like, you can see what the Giants are wanting to do. They're want to get it up over the top of that poor kick. And then if you turn over anywhere around half back, any team's going to crucify it.
Yeah, well, the player that got involved in that chain was Starcevic. So he's the one that's dropping off Stringer. Stringer comes up with a stoppage. Starcevic drops off, but he's got involved in the attacking chain to send him forward, get the goal.
Jake Waterman's 47th goal of the season. The behinds have been the issue for him, but he's still been a fantastic contributor forward to the ball for the Eagles. 1 straight 6 apiece. Giants with the clearance. Attacked off half-back by Duggan. He's able to lock it up. Umpire lets play continue. Now it squeezes out. Graham wins a hard ball. Zahalia Reid, they share it by hand again. Yo, back to Graham. Looks for Waterman on the lead. Good pick up on the half volley. And then clever by Baker to flick it over his shoulder. Shanahan now on a one-on-one. Sweeping handball out wide. Cole will wheel around, look for an option, and then chisel one into the pocket for Baker, who was marked. Well, he started forward, Liam Baker, and he's done some really good 1%er things. Now he's taken the mark on a very tight angle right forward pocket. He'll have the shot. But he set up the last goal and got this play going with a smart handball over his shoulder.
The worries beat the Giants defenders a little bit flat-footed at the moment.
Baker runs around and snaps true on his left. So West Coast with 2 in a row, 2 straight 12. The Giants 1 straight 6, and the Baker move forward is working early for Andrew McQualter.
Yeah, even Waterman's had some space. So Sam Taylor's just
back shoulder
behind. Yeah,
back shoulder by a lot.
And flat-footed. So they've been led up to the ball a couple of times. Shanahan's got off his opponent. Waterman's got off Taylor a couple of times. They've just got to defend a bit tighter, even get, like you say, Pebs, a bit more front shoulder onside as opposed to back shoulder and trailing in.
Yeah, because the Giants defenders do like to play that back shoulder. If you're just bombing it in, they're really good at getting back third man. But what West Coast are doing really well, they're running, handball, breaking the lines, but lowering their eyes and hitting that lead up. So the back shoulder defender is getting caught out.
West Coast with 2 in a row. Jake Waterman and Liam Baker. The West Coast co-captain swung forward to start the game here at the Sydney Showground. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Up goes Williams against Briggs. Clean tap comes down here to Tim Kelly. West Coast on the entry again. Picked off by Joe Fonte. Hand pass off to Cornelio. Sweeps it wide by hand here to Connor Iden, the vice-captain. Down the outer side of the ground. Alana in the contest with Josh Lindsay. Off hands toward the boundary line for a throw-in. And the umpire will chuck it back in on the rather sparse far side as far as the grandstands are concerned, but West Coast leads here 2 straight 12, the Giants are 1 straight 6.
Centre bounce is another issue for Giants. They got absolutely smacked there last week, and it's starting to happen again.
Briggs just edges Bailey Williams out of the ruck contest there, and so the Giants send it forward, and Grushevski's taken the mark. 50 out, almost directly in front, pokes it forward. Didn't go the 15, so Stone had to give the handball to Angwin, and then they lost the handle on it, the Giants in attack. Kelly to Dersma. McCarthy in the left back pocket, shares it with Lindsay. He's a trusty kick, sends it up to the wing. Good contest there by Duff Tytler, brought it to ground. Oliver wins the handball though. Gross and Murdoch held on to the Giants champion with strong tackles, and we'll have a ball up at centre half forward for GWS. West Coast 2 straight 12. Giants 1 straight 6.
8.5 minutes gone here. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Down it comes. It missed Tim Kelly. Angwin there first for the Giants. Tumbling kick inside 50. Grajewski hands off to his captain, Toby Green. Tumbles it toward the pocket here. Or it's knocked away here by Bazzo near the behind post for a throw-in. Stoppage inside 50 for GWS. Home side trails by 6.
Well, the Giants, their mentality out of stoppage is the kick, quick kick. The problem, what I want the Giants runner to go out to Cadman and play in front. He's behind every time, and his defender's cutting his angle.
Toss back in. Bailey Williams held Briggs. Umpire saw that. Will be free kick. No, it's going to go the Eagles' way. So it must have been some contact in there before Bailey Williams came crashing in. So West Coast, a free kick with their ruckman. He thumps it beyond defensive 50.
Duff Tytler is the target, and he was in front of Iden. Brought it to ground. We'll have a boundary throw in at right half forward for the Giants.
Yeah, if you're going to play a surge quick kick out of your stoppage, your forwards are going to play in front. You can't play behind because generally it's going to drop short, and then the defender just picks up by being proactive.
Harley Reid, 4 disposals early. Briggs just palms it down. Ball was left on the ground. Murdoch picked it up, gave it to Reid, and the tackle was held by Fonte. Not easy to do against Harley Reid. Play goes on though. Graham to Williams, who then turns it over by hand. Stringer bursting through. And now Cornelio stood up in the tackle. Eventually lost the handle on it. Graham did well just to make sure Cornelio couldn't get the handball away, and he caught him holding the ball.
Graham, quick hands off to Lindsay. Rebounds the Eagles here from that defensive area. Kicks up inside forward 50. Run down. Great tackle, Fonte. That was absolutely superb, Fonte. The Giants bring the footy away here to Lana. He's wrapped up in turn down there by Hamish Davis. The Giants on their lap though now with Thomas. He was dispossessed. Bounced out here for Graham. Shares it now by hand to Tyler Young. He's won a full 360 in the tackle. They will go off half back here again, the Eagles, but Lockie Ash was beaten through the air. And now will come back here. He was, in fact, taken higher down there by Job Shanahan. So Lockie Ash for the Giants goes across to find... Well, it ends up with Clayton Oliver, 55 from goal. Kick was a little deep looking for its target. It will bounce through for a minor score. So a frantic passage of play for both sides here. The Giants have their first behind. 1-1-7. They trail the Eagles to a 2 straight 12. 11 gone to the opening term.
We had some great pressure from West Coast through that sort of that front half part of the ground. But there's been a couple of times now. Once the Giants get past forward to centre, they've been able to get some easy entries.
Good mark, Jack Williams on the wing. The kick came from McCarthy. He was behind his opponent there in McMullen. Used his height well, Jack Williams, to take an important mark. Ball's at half forward now. Spills over the back of the pack. Gathered by Tom Cole. And he's got Milan Murdoch in space. He's taken the mark, and Murdoch immediately points to Cole. Says, great pass. And he'll go back. Eagles number 47 to have a shot from 35 out straight in front.
Smart there by Cole. He sort of... Lockie Ash went up to make a spoil And you had to really bring the ball to the front of the contest there. Spilled over the back, and Cole was really smart. Get over the back.
Pre-season pick Milan Murdoch has managed to slot through his 16th goal of the season. It's been an inspired selection on the eve of the campaign. He's barely been out of the side since. And West Coast have 3 in a row, 3 straight 18. Waterman, Baker, and now Murdoch. The Giants 1-1-7. And we've gone 12 minutes in the first term at the Sydney Showgrounds. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Your experts, Ryan O'Keefe and Jason Saddington.
I just feel like, Pebs, every time either team probably gets that front half ball off a couple of handballs, they've got a fair bit of space going in. They're able to find free players. You saw the Giants with their first goal. Harvey Thomas just free, open side of the ground. That time there, once Cole got the ball, hit it inside, just free players. Once teams are getting that ball sort of forward to centre.
Yeah, well, that's why these teams are down the bottom of the ladder, because the defence is poor.
The club SSP pick, Milan Murdoch from East Fremantle, 19th career game. What a year he's had since getting his AFL opportunity after a great waffle career. Cornelio for the Giants, shares it with Toby Green, dispossessed in the Herbert tackle. Now wrapped up ball and all, and there is Graham by Madden, so the umpire says, give it to me.
The early nightmares, I reckon, around the ruck work. Williams is already well on top.
West Coast by 11, Stone brought to ground by Yo. The ball up again.
Jack Graham with 7 touches. It's been really busy early for the Eagles. Madden with a clean tap down to Stone. The late inclusion for Bedford. Falls the way of Bailey Williams, who just thumps it to centre half forward. Mark was dropped by Taylor. It could be costly. Ball spilling free and attacking 50 for the Eagles. Gathered by Murdoch now, and he's caught holding the ball. Really strong tackle by Sam Taylor. They needed that, the Giants, because Murdoch was about to release Waterman for another shot on goal. It's a dangerous kick by Taylor, but he does find Lockie Whitfield. Handball over the top to Stones. Spills it out to Thomas. Kick the Giants' only goal. Ducks inside on Duff Tytler. Kicks to the forward line. Good mark, Stringer. Just floated across that pack. Jake Stringer will wind up on goal now with a long ball. Will go all the way to the line and hits the post. Giants 1-2-8. West Coast 3 straight 18. 14 minutes gone in the first term.
Thought they were about to mess that up. Stringer and Toby Green. Toby Green's probably going to take the mark right in behind Stringer.
Eagles waste no time, moving it from fullback. Murdoch does find Jack Williams. Now Waterman marks up the ground here.
It's a couple of easy exits for West Coast.
Every player on the ground just about forward of halfway. And West Coast attacking half. They retreat though to find Kelly. They'll switch it back members side here of the showground. That's marked by Brady Hoff. His 97th AFL game. Hoff down the line. Was the lead down there forward of halfway. Where he's marked by Hamish Davis.
The Giants are sitting back for like a zone defence, so Eagles are playing just a kick mark game to pick through it.
Davis on the entry. 2-on-2. Pack forms. Shanahan out the back. Whitfield bursting on the whip now. Shares it with Madden. Clean hand pass to Stringer. Battles it to advantage. Floats it back here. Infield out to Cornelio. On straight to Starcevic. He's sitting between he and Graham. And brought the ground here. Cornelio on the wing members side for a ball up. West Coast 3 straight 18. The Giants are 1-2-8. 15 gone to the opening term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Ball thrown up quickly. Duff Tytler palms it down. Yo there. Coming off a good game against Collingwood last week. Can't emerge with the football cleanly. So we'll have another ball up. Ralston tries to win it for the Giants. It falls the way of Tom Gross, who made his debut on this ground last year. And he's caught high, Gross. A really good game as well against the Pies last week, kicking 2 goals. Now sends the Eagles deep into attack. Good mark, Shanahan just spilled through his hands. He got clean purchase on it. Couldn't quite grab it. Giants under pressure though. Iden goes back to Angwin. Tumbling ball that is marked by Duff Tytler. 60 out from goal for West Coast. The Eagles putting serious pressure on the Giants, leading by 10 points. Duff Tytler pokes it into the pocket. Cole the target, and I think he's won a free kick he has for high contact. So Tom Cole, one of 3 premiership players from 2018 in this side, along with Liam Duggan and Elliot Yeo, will have a shot from 35 out, slightly worse than a 45-degree angle to the right.
It's a bit of a soft. There's nothing in that at all. Given that he gets Madden coming third man in.
Yeah, I don't know if he made high contact either. He did come in and help with the spoil, but I think Cole just sort of went to ground into contact.
This is a lucky one.
Tom Cole with the shot on goal. And he's drilled it. West Coast with 4 in a row. 4 straight 24. The Giants 1-2-8. Super start by the Eagles, chasing their 5th win of the season on a 9-game losing streak. Ryan O'Keefe and Jason Saddington, they put them in a really strong position.
Well, yeah, they come with energy. They're moving the ball really well. They're being smart and being a little impatient as well. They're not just rushing in and blazing away. As I said, the Giants are playing a zone defence, so their back shoulder and there's gaps everywhere, and they've been able to connect and hit inside 50.
Yeah, and then like we spoke about pre-game, I think the West Coast front half pressure's been pretty good. And I think that's what they're not letting the Giants get through. They're trying to get some run and carry at times, but they're just not getting enough space to be able to get themselves out with the Giants. So West Coast bringing the pressure in that front half.
Premiership defender come forward. Tom Cole with his 9th major of the year. On the restart, Giants get it forward of halfway. Hoff spoils it away. Oliver out to meet it. Kelly tackled. Hoff here for the West Coast Eagles. Now Yo just thumps it high towards half forward and just spoiled down there. Great work by Jack Williams in the contest with Iden. Out of bounds right on the junction of 50. Declan Byrne on the boundary.
He's coming back on now, but Harley Reid came off and was just shaking out his left quad. He came into the game with a couple of concerns after some knocks last week, shoulder and leg concerns, but he got on the bike. I think it'll just take a bit to get going, but he's back out there now.
Did love Declan's question to Sam Radford, the West Coast midfield coach, about the All-Australian squad name tomorrow. Comes out here for Duggan, couldn't trap it. There comes Harley Reid. Knocks it back here for Herbert. And now Duff Tytler snaps inside forward 50. Murdoch can't trap it. Whitfield there now. Taylor for the Giants. Picked off here by Dersma. Brought to ground, ball and all down there by Taylor. But the point I'm making there is, Ryan O'Keefe, that the All-Australian squad gets named tomorrow. There's still 1 round to play.
Yeah, let's obviously, it's telling everyone it's already picked. And we don't want clubs to rest players, but we're going to pick our Australian for 1 round. So
well, theoretically, you could make it from the squad into the 23 with
they know
in the last round.
They know it already.
Ball out of play here for a throw-in on the members' side of the Sydney Showground. The West Coast Eagles are 4 straight 24. The Giants are 1-2-8. 19 gone to the opening turn.
Harley Reid a really good chance to be named in that squad. Probably the only Eagle. Ruben Ginbey would have been a really strong possibility as well, if not for that injury. The Giants win a free kick via a last man touch and just flick it across defensive 50. They're trying to get going here. Whitfield shares it with Oliver.
Well done.
And he was run down, Whitfield. The Eagles' pressure is on in a big way. Here's Gross. Shares it with Dersma. Handball over the top to Shanahan. Running through on goal is Baker. Goes back to Gross, who ran into trouble. Good pressure from the Giants, perhaps overusing it by hand, West Coast, and Taylor wraps up Gross. We'll have a ball up, 30 out directly in front from the Eagles' goal.
There's a prime example where the handball game does not work with good pressure on.
They did have a handball last week against Collingwood as well. Duff Tytler down to Reid. Harley Reid with a snap across the face and missing everything. They are looking dangerous, West Coast, up by 16 points, 20 minutes into the first term.
I was more pointing at the Giants exit. Like, let's kick it, let's get it out and kick it to your forwards.
Lockie Ash on the kick out. Some space in the right back pocket. Drives it long to the outer side. Falls for Anglin. Can't get there first though. Lindsay for West Coast brought to ground. Locked in now for a ball up on the outer wing here at the Sydney Showground. Bright sun shining here on a day that was started out quite overcast and rainy. West Coast by 16 points here, looking for their first road win since round 3 of this year, and they're only second win away for 2 season span. Out of bounds for a throw-in. By the way, Cam Green's out, so that means Australia are 2 more or less. 9 for 283. Green was out for 104, bowled by Hassan Mahmood, who was, of course, the chief destroyer in the first innings in Darwin. Australia leads Bangladesh by 55 runs, with just the 1 wicket in the second innings. They go inside 50 here, West Coast, and spoiled away by Himmelberg for a throw in.
It's crazy to think, but so we're still, first quarter. What are the Giants actually made of? What do they want to get out of this? Are they already conceding? Do they have some grit to actually dig in here and get this back on their terms, or are they just going to wait for it to hopefully fall their way?
Inside 50s, 14-5 in favour of West Coast, as threatened to go forward again, gathered by Hamish Davis, who came into the side this week, but he's tackled by Angove, playing his first game of the season for the Giants, a Claremont product from WA. Madden wins it from the ball up. Here's Rouston. Darts inside on Dersma. Now shares it with Connor Stone. The late inclusion for Bedford. Has a bounce Stone and sends the Giants deep into attack. Cadman the target. Almost took the mark. Well done by Bazzo in that contest. But then a free kick is given away for front-on contact against Bazzo. Cadman, who was in best position, will have the shot from 30 out, slight angle to the right.
That's lucky for him to get that. But again, Cadman's playing back shoulder. Like, as a key forward, big guy like him, lead a present at the ball. He sticks his arms out. No one's going to spoil it, but he wants everything over the back, and that's the frustrating thing. And we've spoken about him. If he wants to take that next step, he's got to be an aggressive, demanding key forward.
Did well in the contest, Bazzo. Unlucky to give away the free kick. Cadman, with only 5 goals in his last 5 games, has slotted this one through. The former number 1 draft pick is on the board. One of 4 number 1 draft picks playing today. Whitfield, Cadman, Reid and Dersma. The Giants have their second. 2-2-14. West Coast 4 straight, 24. 22 and a half gone in the first quarter.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, Peps, because, I mean, you think about, and Cadman's that type of player, he's got to roam, he's got to run, he's got to get off his opponent. It's Jeremy Cameron-like type player, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's not a just get out the back and push and shove and take a mark. It's about him running and jumping. That's his game. And at the moment, you're right, certainly in this first quarter, it's just a lot of, well, I just want it out the back.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to get on your bike, you've got to lose your opponent.
But that's
get him behind him, but then come up at the ball again, especially when it's coming in your lane.
We see Jason Saddington on ABC Sport, former Swan and Blue. Out of the right, Griggs, uncontested, just thumps it inside 50. Cadman, second, third right, marks it again. Inside 10 seconds.
In front. He's in front this time with a quick kick. Funny that.
So Aaron Cadman, the game's most recent goal just seconds ago, lining up for number 2 as we approach quarter time here in Sydney. So as Garvey said, so we've had, 3 of the last 4 number 1 picks on show, plus Whitfield some years back now. Aaron Cadman with a couple of goals against the Gold Coast Suns last week. That was his first multiple goal haul since round 17. Left footer, in he comes, 40 out directly in front. He makes no mistake. 2 quick goals for the caddy man. And the Giants cut the West Coast lead back to 4 points. 4 straight plays, 3-2. 24 gone to the opening term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
That was good ruck craft there by Briggs. Let Williams jump, missed it, and then didn't muck around. Kicked it long, straight up the seam. Forward play in front. It's an easy game.
It's a good little curling barrel from Briggsy that I think actually worked in Cadman's favour. It kind of curled away. It's an onside for Cadman, which allowed him to probably get that front spotlight.
So Cadman up to 30 goals for the season now. Jake Stringer with 41 leads the way for the Giants. He's just struggled to have a really big game over the last 2 months or so, Aaron Cadman.
It's hard, though, when your team's not playing well.
Yeah.
Be a key forward.
Oh, Jesse Hogan there as well to take some of the load off him. Opportunity today, perhaps. 2 goals in the first term.
Well, it should be better for him with no Hogan. He should be the focal point, but I just think his work rate and aggressiveness as a key forward is what's letting him down.
Eagles up by 4 points. Yo, well tackled by Oliver. One of the toughest in the AFL. And the clinches there. So another ball up. Briggs with a clever tap to Canelio, and then the handball over the shoulder to Whitfield. This is better from the Giants. Whitfield shared it with Angove. Long ball into attack. Gruszewski with the leap. And the mark in front of Starcevic. That's the best we've seen of the Giants in this first term by a long way. And Gruszewski will have a shot from 40 out straight in front.
Yeah, he's a good player. This is a player I think he can start building a bit of a forward line. He's great overhead. You know, he works well. He's pretty tough. So I really like Gruszewski. He's really good.
Yeah, I think the news of the week is just signed for 2 years. I think that probably shows that, you know, that's what the Giants are looking at. You know, the talk, Hogan, Stringer, Gruszewski signed on.
That may suggest that one, or if not both, Hogan and Stringer could be departing at season's end as Gruszewski kicks a third quick one in a row for the Giants. 2 to Cadman, and now to Gruszewski. These young tools for GWS standing up, and they've got the lead by 2 points. 4-2-26, West Coast 4 straight, 24.
It's amazing when you got, you know, Giants have always got talented and really good forwards. It's amazing when you don't overhandball it and you get it inside 50, give them an opportunity. And that's what they've done for the last 3 entries, and they've kicked 3 goals.
So a lot's been spoken about midfield with the Giants. They've struggled a lot this year. Their last 2 clearances, they've been able to get the ball out, win it forward. Briggs has been really important in that. when you take Green and Callaghan out, the impact it does have on their team. If they're playing every week, it allows more ball to get forward. It allows them to play a better game of football, the Giants. So it's definitely one thing they've battled with. It's what they've battled with through the first 20 minutes of this quarter, but the last couple of minutes they've got on top in the middle.
Giants with 3 straight goals take back the lead. Williams, it's Bailey, rises high above Briggs. Reed slammed to the turf down there for a ball up. Meanwhile, Australia all out in Darwin, 2-8-4. Bangladesh 57 runs away from a historic victory up in the top end. Of course, coverage continues via the ABC Listen app. First hands toward here from the stoppage, Clayton Oliver. Dispossessed though, picked up by Kelly, off to Reed for the Eagles. Thumps them inside 50, down to the contest. Williams wrapped up down there by Fonte. It trickles toward the pocket. Connor Iden gathers. The Giants vice-captain does clear beyond defensive 50, and now Lindsay gets hands toward here but gave away the push out there on Hamilton. The Giants will go off half-back.
Ralston is tagging Harley Reid, but he's got this in his run down. Graham with a brilliant tackle, spills the way of Kelly, who takes the advantage. Kicks to Baker, maybe not the best target inside 50. Iden does well to cut across for the Giants. Now the ball spills over the boundary line, just outside 50 for West Coast. So,
can you explain, you've done a beautiful inside cut out, why would you play on with pressure on you? Like, there's questions around his kicking, but I think it's more decision making, and decisions like that just go, what are you doing? Like, shouldn't be doing that.
Harry Ralston, the player that Ryan O'Keefe is speaking about, perhaps he's preoccupied with the task of trying to stop Harley Reid. As Canelio gathers it at centre half back. Bouncing ball forward of the play for the Giants. Well done, Starcevic. That's better on Gruszewski after he lost that last contest. Shared it with Graham, but that's a scrappy kick. Thomas couldn't take the mark on the wing, but has time to gather and poke it to half forward. Hoff tracking back, gathers it and shares it with Tyler Young.
He floats the hand pass forward now for McCarthy. Looks for options infield. Goes himself here with a kick down the line. Shanahan, towering grab. Loose man here is Cole. Gets forward of halfway. Hand pass to the outside, Duggan. He goes inside 50 now for West Coast. Up in front with a spoiled Taylor. At the drop, Ash now for GWS, and now Delana. With a hand pass on the bounce for Ralston. Knocked away by Tim Kelly. Ralston tries again. Spilled by Ash. Kelly clashes in again. Now 60 from goal. Puts it back inside the arc. Waterman gets his hands to it. And it takes the mark 40 out. Slight angle left-hand side.
Often clear fumbles there from the Giants. Clean hands. Yeah, you've got to be clean. If you drop that ball, they're pretty simple takes. They just kept coughing the ball up. A couple of bits in that play. Just gave it back to West Coast. Easy turnover.
West Coast are putting on really good pressure, so you cannot do this game. Like, the forwards for the Giants have actually made good position. If you looked up the ground and kicked it out the space, they'll set up well. They continue with this handball game in their back half, and they keep turning over and West Coast credit, they're pressuring him.
Jake Waterman averages 2 goals a game here at the Sydney Showground. He's already kicked 1. With the set shot, he sprays this to the far side, and so he's 1 goal 1. So far, I'm sure the West Coast fans are hoping that will at least correct itself when he goes forward to the ledger once more. But a minor score, it's a 1-point game here. Giants 4-2-26, West Coast 4-1-25 at the half-hour mark of the opening term.
He's battled the yips all season. They were on show there, Jake Waterman. Just poked at it. Struggling to kick through the football. Confidence is really low from those sorts of shots. Let off for the Giants, who lead by a point. Quarter time approaching. They chip it around defensive 50. Ash has it at centre half back. Dylan Murdoch tasked with trying to quell his influence today, the defensive forward for the Eagles. That's a scrubby kick. And the Eagles taken out there, and he's slow to get up. West Coast go deep into attack, and Baker has taken the mark. So it was really strong play from McCarthy at half back to put himself in that contest. Copped one high, ball spilled free. And Waterman with the pass to Baker, who'll have a shot now from 40 out straight in front.
Both him and Taylor there was brave. They're both eyes on the ball, collision, and that's one of those dangerous collisions in our game, makes our players so brave.
Liam Baker for his second of the quarter to give West Coast back the lead. Goal umpire doesn't have to move. Liam Baker with a couple in the first term. And West Coast back in front by 5 points, 5-1-31. GWS 4-2-26, 31 minutes into the first term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Now, back you in a little bit here, Peps, with what you're saying about the Giants and maybe generating handballs that aren't there or trying to force the issue a little bit. It's exactly what happened in that play. Lockie Ash, he took a few seconds and then he just played on. But it was almost like he played on without a plan.
Exactly.
And he took off and he thought, well, now I'll just kick it forward.
And he kicked a helicopter.
It was an average rushed sort of kick in the end. Amazing contest there, but it was a turnover they didn't have to have. Stop forcing the play. Let it come at the right time. But you can see, and it's probably plays to the way that their football's going at the moment, that lack of confidence. They're kind of in between trying to generate their run off half-back when it's not ready to go.
Late in the opening quarter, from the restart, first hands Clayton Oliver off to Cornelio. Giants with the clearance, but Herbert got some separation on Toby Green. Intercepts the mark down there at fullback for West Coast. Just across for Tyler Young, a recent 50-gamer, among the 6 players who have featured in every game this season for the Eagles. Just clears it from right half-back. Briggs through his hands. Wrong. Between the gates, not far away from you. Declan Byrne on the boundary.
Yeah, just relaying that McCarthy stayed out on the field. He got some attention. They sort of had a look at the right shoulder, which is where that collision happened with Sam Taylor, but he's staying out there and looks good to continue.
West Coast by 5. Bright sunny conditions here in Sydney. Late in this opening term, Bailey Williams held by Briggs. Free kick West Coast.
Tom Cole can't really take any advantage there. Thought about it. We'll go back to Bailey Williams on the logo of the wing. Chance for West Coast to pump this forward and perhaps kick another one before quarter time. They're up by 5 points. Bailey Williams, who signed a new 6-year deal earlier on this season, kicks to half forward. Taylor couldn't take the mark. Biden's there though, gathers it. Shares it with Oliver. Floaty ball up to the wing. Herbert does well to win front position. Couldn't take the mark though. Chance for the Giants now with time ticking down before quarter time. Here's Cornelio. Finds some space. Sweeping handball to Toby Green. The Giants captain just steadies up and slots it. All the class and experience of Toby Green on show there. Well done by Cornelio to find him. But that was a brilliant finish from Toby Green in what might be his final game here at the Sydney Showground as a Giants player.
That was a good finish by Toby. Obviously, he's a class around goals. But it was good from Clayton Oliver there around that contest. Got it going forward. You have a contest from your key forwards and a lot more direct.
4th lead change of the game inside the opening half hour. Declan Byrne on the boundary.
Yeah, talk about a coach killer. Andrew McWalter for the Eagles walked out of the tunnel as Toby Green shot for goal. He looked as it went through, shook his head and walked to the bench. He's stung by that late goal for the Giants.
Bit of a trend.
There's half a second left on the clock. So.
It's a bit of a trend for West Coast. They give up very soft goals when they're in decent positions.
And there's the quarter time siren as the ball goes in the air. So in that first quarter here, the Giants with 2 goals to Aaron Cadman. They were in the space of about 10 seconds. Singles to Harvey Thomas, Max Krajewski and Toby Green, the most recent of those on the quarter time siren. Whereas Liam Baker, the West Coast skipper, has 2 goals. Singles to Jake Waterman, Alan Murdoch and Tom Cole here so far at the Sydney Showground. 4 lead changes in this first quarter so far. Repeating, there was some team news out of the warm-up. No Toby Bedford out with a back injury, which he seemed to aggravate last week in his milestone game in Canberra. Connor Stone, the late in for them. Whereas for West Coast, Hamish Davis in for Bo Allen being managed. Just the one change from their team selection as it dropped back on Friday evening. The Giants by a point here at the Showground. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
This August, Science Week is blooming around the ABC.
We're celebrating Australia's favourite wildflowers.
Vote now this Science Week.
Get involved at abc.net.au/science.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Yo, hand pass off to Cole, Premiership teammates. Bursting through here, Starcevic on the entry. A little too low down there for Baker. Hand pass off to Waterman on the finish from 30 out. That's what he can do. Jake Waterman on the run with the finish. Gets West Coast first.
Tom Cole with the shot on goal. And he's drilled it. West Coast with 4 in a row. Just got in the contest, Bazzo. Unlucky to give away the free kick. Cadman, with only 5 goals in his last 5 games, has slotted this one through.
Over the right, Briggs, uncontested, just dumps it inside 50. Cadman, second, third bite, marks it again. Inside 10 seconds.
In front. He's in front this time with a quick kick. Funny that.
Left footer, in he comes. 40 out directly in front. He makes no mistake. 2 quick goals for the caddy man.
Whitfield shared it with Ango. Long ball into attack. Krzyzewski with the lead. And the mark in front of Starcevic. That's the best we've seen of the Giants in this first term by a long way. As Grzyzewski kicks the third quick one in a row for the Giants. Two to Cadman, now to Grzyzewski. These young tools for GWS standing up, and they've got the lead. Here's Canelio, finds some space, sweeping handball to Toby Green. The Giants captain just steadies up and slots it. All the class and experience of Toby Green on show there.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
GWS leads West Coast by a point here at the Sydney Showground. You're with Brett Sprigg alongside Daniel Garb, Ryan O'Keefe, Jason Saddington, Declan Byrne here, Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. Meanwhile in Darwin, Bangladesh none for 4 in the fourth innings of that game, requiring a further 53 runs to get the job done there on day 4. That's going to happen, you would think, pretty soon. But there was one Australian highlight earlier, and that was with Cameron Green's 100.
Green on 98, Tuscan Ahmed to him, he turns it off his thigh pad, he gets one, he's going to come back for the second and 100, Tajul Islam throws it in, Green gets there, and it's the 100 long promised. In his 21st Test match at home, his 33rd innings, Cam Green tons up.
Great call there from Corbin Middlemass. It wasn't to be much longer though. Cameron Green out a short time thereafter.
He's bowled. One that kept low, ducked back into the right-hander, and Hassan Mahmood packs Cam Green up for 104. And his maiden Test 100 on home soil comes to an end.
That was about half an hour or so ago. So since then, Bangladesh, as I mentioned, none for 4, 53 runs shy victory there in the fourth innings of that game for a historic win in Darwin. You can hear that unfold across the ABC Listen app on the cricket ball button with Corbin Middlemass, Jim Maxwell, Jason Gillespie and the crew there. And in the AFLW, I mentioned the game's happening as well as we speak. In the AFLW, there is the game at Windy Hill. Brisbane leads Essendon 11-10-76 to 6-1-37 in the fourth quarter there. At Unley in Adelaide, the Crows now trail the Swans by 2 points in the final term. Freo plays Port in Coburn later, and the Giants play West Coast here at the Sydney Showground in Game 2 of the doubleheader. Also in AFL Round 23, Bulldogs v Carlton at Docklands underway within the hour. You can hear a full call of that on ABC Listen via the main ABC AFL button. It's all happening. And meanwhile, here in Sydney, the Giants lead West Coast by a point. Ryan O'Keefe and Jason Saddington.
Well, it's been a sort of interesting game. West Coast are on. It was a tale of two halves, I think. The West Coast are on top early. They came off the back of, you mentioned Bailey Williams, how dominant. He's got some hops. He's really jumping in. And that last centre bounce, he put his knee into Briggs and hurt Briggs. Yeah. So he's jumping. He gets right up over the top and he's putting it down. You know, Harley Reid, Yo's in there, and Cully. Yep. And they were right on top early. I think it was 4 centre clearances to zip to start with. But then the Giants sort of pegged it back once they sort of got a couple of clearances out of there. But what I've sort of picked out of the Giants game is their turnovers out of back half. We sort of mentioned West Coast are putting on some really good front half pressure. But again, the Giants overuse their handball. They turn it over because West Coast, to West Coast credit, are putting really good pressure on. They just need to kick it a bit more. And when the Giants did kick and go direct inside, the talent they've got up front, they can kick a winning score, and I think that's their strength, is their forline. But they're not getting it in there. So that's probably where I'd say that the Giants. But the Eagles, I think the Eagles, when they're getting their ball, they're running really well. They're finding that space and they're sort of piercing that zone defence from the Giants. Yeah,
and West Coast are pretty good through that quarter. Their clearance work, that's where they got to get on top. And I think they still won that battle. Williams did win the ruck work early, but Kelly's had plenty of footy, 9 touches. Harley Reid with the 8. So they're getting enough ball through the middle. When they get it forward, again, their pressure's been pretty good. They're forcing turnovers from the Giants. West Coast maintain that, and they'll stay in this game up until half-time, that's for sure.
Giants by a point into the second term we go. Paddy Williams rises high. Harley Reid lost it in the Canelio tackle. Regathered here by Briggs, and now he's locked in for a ball up. Up it goes again. Briggs, it's a foot to it, just volleys it towards half forward. Now fisted away by Toby Green. Unkind bounce down there in defence for Bazzo, the Eagles. Cadman's hand pass goes nowhere. Knocked up by Graham for West Coast, and now they'll go bounding off half back with McCarthy.
McCarthy's kick is accurate. It finds Milan Murdoch, our right half back. Here goes Corridor. and spots up Tim Kelly, who's been really good so far. Clever kick from Kelly to Graham. Graham couldn't quite take the mark though. Oliver applies the pressure. Ball spills free. Gathered again by Graham. So there's a free kick going the way of Oliver for a high tackle.
That was a late call. He grabbed his head and then he goes, I better pay a free kick here.
Yeah, they were out West Coast too.
They were. So Oliver will take the free kick at left half back. So the Giants 7 scores from only 10 inside 50s in that first term. West Coast defence needs to be a little bit stronger as it falls away of Toby Green off that pack in the middle of the ground. Bouncing ball, deep in attack. Hamilton leads the way and gets the ball. He just won the foot race, Riley Hamilton, opposed to Liam Duggan. And the youngster puts the Giants 7 points up from a metre out. Clever kick, though, from Toby Green to find some space.
Key word there, kick garbs. Toby Green kick. You can sort of. I was watching their huddle at quarter time, and I think the forwards. You can see the forwards are coming up the ground, and they're quick kicking. Briggs tried one just to get it on the boot, where usually they'll try and overhandball. Toby Green, as soon as he got his hands on it, get it up over the back. So look, I think that's, if they can keep doing that, as you mentioned, they've gone in 10 times now for 9 scoring shots. The defences on both ends are getting scored against heavily, so it's who's going to just get it inside 50 more often than not.
Yeah, Riley Hamilton just got the perfect bounce.
Oh, didn't he? What?
It just sat up a treat right at the perfect time for him to just grab and dribble that through.
The Canberra lad, the rising star nom in round 18. To go here for the Giants on the restart. First hands to a Kelly, off to Harley Reid for West Coast. High ball inside forward 50. Going up down there, Williams couldn't win it down. Oliver on the rebound now for the Giants. Little 1-2 punch with Himmelberg by hand, and now Iden just nurses it beyond defensive 50. It sits up on its point there for Cornelio. Got some space there on Harley Reid. Cornelio to a pack on the wing. Toby Green sitting up in front. Not paid the grab, and now Harvey Thomas fires the hand pass along here now. Back for Hamilton. It's clear down there of McCarthy. Kicks inside forward 50, and Cameron in a contest with Bazzo. Off hands for a throw-in at right half forward with the Giants attacking end. 6-2-38 the Giants. West Coast to 5-1-31. We've played 3 minutes in this second quarter. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Boundary throw in inside 50 for GWS. Briggs has been influential in the ruck. West Coast can win this in defensive 50. Gross to Starcevic. Puts it out in front of Murdoch. He's doing well opposed to Lockie Ash at the moment, Milan Murdoch. There's a goal in that first term as well. That's a clever kick to find Waterman on the wing. Out in front of Taylor. He goes inboard, looking for a teammate in Davis, who takes the mark, plays on, and chips it to Duff Tytler. And Cooper Duff Tytler will have a shot from 30 out, virtually straight in front. Good ball movement, West Coast.
Yeah, coast to coast there.
Yeah, well, it's been last couple of entries when the Giants have gone in. When West Coast win the footy, they're able to exit out open side because they're getting outside shoulder their forwards who are up. The Giants are letting them go, and they're being able to exit out through half-back, up to the wing, get the ball inside 50 pretty easy. They're owning the outside on the open side.
So Cooper Duff Tytler, this precocious talent, pick 4 in last year's draft. He has pulled this one across the face. He's rated a very good kick for a big man, but that's not his best work. So Giants lead by 6 points, 6-2-38. West Coast 5-2-32. 4 minutes into the second term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Still 18 years of age, Cooper Duff Tytler. Turns 19 this Saturday. The lad who was last year's number 4 draft pick. And Cornelio, been busy in the game so far. Goes for a run-off half-back here for the Giants. Ball floats down towards Toby Green. Coming across big spoil Duggan. And out of bounds now for a throw-in. Members side.
Oh, there we go. Toby and Harley, push and shove. We haven't spoken about that. It's definitely going to happen.
Toby, the defender was coming. Toby always cocked his leg, what he's done. And I think he always realised, hang on, I can't do this. I've been rubbed out of this before.
Giants by 6 at ground level. Oliver competes with Kelly. Reid extracts the football here for the Eagles. Kicks off a step down towards attacking the side of the wing. Iden up in front with Duff Tytler. And out of bounds for a throw-in once more.
So much strength, Harley Reid. 10 disposals now. Level with Jack Graham. Kelly has 12. Oliver and Cornelio 11 and 10 respectively, leading the way for the Giants. Boundary throw in on the wing. GWS by 6 points. A free kick there going the way of the Eagles. And Harley Reid, well, he's getting a few more of them now after West Coast had a meeting with the umpires a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but that was it. I was actually watching that to see how much body Rouston was putting on him, and there wasn't much at all.
Reed's kick into the pocket. Sam Taylor with a strong spoil across a couple of Eagles there.
Garbs, are you saying the meetings had something to do with... if that's the case, that's ridiculous.
Well, the week after the meeting, Harley Reid won 6 free kicks.
That's ridiculous. Like, if it's an influence like that rather than calling a game on its merits, it's unbelievable.
Giants by 6 minutes played, second term. The clash through the air there with Thomas and Liam Baker. Ball comes free. Harley Reid, big fend off down there. And now runs into the tackle. And there's some more frustration here as Thomas got him and gets the free kick. The frustration of Harley Reid still on show. Fended off one tackler and then couldn't quite get rid of Harvey Thomas and Harley Reid. And as a result, Harvey Thomas has the ball here at right half back for GWS. They lead by 6 points. Thomas just pumps it down the line here for the Giants. It'll ricochet toward the boundary line and Stringer and Graham see it over for a throw-in.
Haven't seen much of Stringer. Very quiet through the first quarter.
He's playing really high. He's up in the stoppage, up off the back of the West Coast sweeper.
Isn't he more influential? He's a bit deeper forward. He's been their leading goal kicker. Is there someone else you push up?
Only 2 touches. Only 2 touches for Willem Dersmer as well as Elliot Yeo is caught. Another shout for holding the ball there.
Well, Toby Green, get him. He's probably one that does better at that getting up high. Riley Hamilton, let Stringer play a bit deeper.
Yeah. Ball up on the wing. Clever tap from Briggs, who's probably had more of an impact than Madden in the ruck so far. The Giants shared around by hand. Eventually falls the way of Thomas. He kicks long into attack. Free kick going the way.
No one knows.
Of GWS. Eventually we get,
we go.
We get the signal, and it's Callum Brown. So Brady Hoff cannot believe it. Throws his head back. Cal Brown will have a shot from 25 out on a 45-degree angle to the right to put the Giants 2 goals up.
I've got no idea what that's for.
No, it's one of them ones, and there's a few forwards, all the rest of it. No, we're only seeing on the replay Cadman, but Brown's got the free kick. Maybe he was held out of the contest, I'm not sure.
I think the one of Toby Green is rotating through the midfield, so you don't want to spend his Vickies going up high. He's playing that extra mid anyway.
It's a very good kick, the Irishman. And Cal Brown delivers again. Always confident from that sort of range. GWS now lead by 12 points, 7-2-44. West Coast 5-2-32. We've gone 8.5 minutes in the second term here at the Sydney Showground.
Another good quick kick out there, but Harvey Thomas just get it in deep, let your forwards go to work, and something like that happens. Actually, watching that, he was getting manhandled. That's a free kick every day of the week. But I reckon Cal Brown's very underrated. He's a great player. Like, you can play him anywhere. He's big. He's so athletic. He's got a good kick. You can play him back. You can play him forward. You can probably play him up on the wing even. You know what I mean? Or maybe next year it's something you pinch hit him in the centre bounce.
Well, he did. He before Briggs came back into the team.
But as a midfielder, not a ruck.
Oh, not as a ruck.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's got speed. Yeah. He's got absolute speed. It's probably just nailing that one spot. He was a back when he first started his career here. As a junior back in Ireland, he was a speedy forward.
I guess lead of the game so far, Giants by 12. It'll be a ruck free kick given the way of the West Coast Eagles and Bailey Williams.
The Giants rucks are really concerned at centre bounce. Yeah, it's getting a little bit concerning.
Down the corridor, Williams, too deep for Waterman. Spoiled away by Iden. Himmelberg there in defence, can't mop up. Nor can Angwin. Himmelberg tries again, left it behind. Cole pressuring him. Hand pass off the deck here from Job Shanahan. And now up against that boundary line, it will be, I think, thrown up rather than thrown in. In fact, that will be chucked back in at right half forward for the West Coast Eagles. Scoreboard end. That scoreboard does have a new game-high lead. The way GWS 7-2-44 to West Coast 5-2-32. 10 minutes played, second term.
Williams taps it down to Hamish Davis, who is thrown into the ground by Toby Green rather aggressively. They'll have a ball up though, right half forward for the Eagles. Davis slow to get to his feet. Williams with a big leap again. Angwin tackled by Bailey Williams, who got it up after his ruck work. Now gathered by Graham. Back to Marcus Herbert, who's been really quiet, Herbert. And he darted a couple of ways, and eventually Toby Green smothered it off the boot. Read him well, Toby Green. They call him Disco Herbert because of his tendency to shake one way and then the other.
Well,
Green read him well.
Well, he actually beat him, and he goes, actually, I'll try and go back the other way. He should have gone the first. He already had him cooked the first one.
His contract situation is Interesting as well, as far as just being off contract now. Herbert breaks clear here of Oliver. Goes inside forward 50. Himmelberg in the contest with Shanahan. Can't trap it. Milan Murdoch slick hands off to Yeo from the pocket. Has a look from 40 out, and it is missing near side. What I mean to say is, of course, we're Victorian clubs chasing Marcus Herbert. And West Coast have not yet shored him up beyond this initial deal. So 11 points the margin here. Giants back on the attack.
Ash to Madden over the head of Cornelio. This might stay in. Cornelio does well to keep it in fact. Tapped it to Hamilton. Now the Giants have numbers out. Hamilton to Cadman. Caught by Bazzo. Excellent rundown tackle by Bazzo on his direct opponent. And caught Cadman holding the ball on the wing.
More game awareness there. Cadman, he thought he had way too much time. He's got to know the pressure is coming from behind.
Giants by 11 points. Bazzo's kick up to left half forward. Waterman and Jack Williams the targets. Sam Taylor did really well opposed to Waterman there. Worked him under the football and then took the contested mark. And was able to chip it back to Connor Iden, who's marked inside defensive 50. Playing his 97th consecutive game, Connor Iden. And that is a new GWS record, going past Heath Shaw.
Jack Crisp's thinking, is that all? Here they go off half-back with Joe Fonte. Long kick and the member's side. Green crashes the pack late there for the Giants. And now Cadman lays a tackle on the follow-up. Ball up, Declan Byrne on the boundary.
Tom McCarthy came off in the end, so he's getting that right shoulder strapped after that heavy clash with Sam Taylor in the back end of that first.
From this stoppage, Jack Graham gets it, kicks it down the line. Bounce away there unkindly from Jack Williams, and now Milan Murdoch does wrap up a ball carrier down there in McMullen. Hands it back to the umpire. Giants by 11 points here, 13 gone in the second quarter. Sunday footy, ABC Sport, up it goes. Nick Madden to the outside. Bursting onto it now is Ralston. Kicks down the boundary line here, and Cadman takes an overhead grab.
Really good kick from Ralston. He does struggle with his kicking efficiency, but that was lovely. Long ball into attack, and Hoff does well opposed to Cal Brown to guide that over the boundary line. So a throw in, right forward pocket for the Giants, who lead by 11 points.
Cadman playing in front, leads at the ball carrier. When he's like that, he's going to be unstoppable.
Yeah, when he gets up the ground, he's actually had more impact this quarter.
Yeah.
He's actually getting up to the wing. He's not playing as the deepest, not trying to get out of the back.
Ryan O'Keefe and Jason Saddington, your experts on ABC Sports. Sunday footy. Tim Kelly caught by Cornelio, deep in defence, and then Lindsay falls on it. Wrapped up by Cadman, the number 5. So a ball up, still inside 50, straight in front of the GWS goals.
And up it goes. Madden palms it down. Cadman can't quite trap it now. Does get boot the ball with a snap into the square, but getting back with the flight. Great work down there by the West Coast Eagles defence, and they will move the footy here. Duff Tytler, and they come beyond defensive 50. And a free kick here, which will come back on the next contest further upfield here with Jack Williams. So from left half back, he goes inside defensive 50. They'll switch the play across to Herbert, and the headband wearing Marcus Herbert does indeed go all the way back. Herbert doesn't get it this time. In fact, it's Williams who marks at half back here for the West Coast Eagles.
He'll play on by hand to Herbert. He runs into a bit of trouble. Back to Williams. Giants set up nicely, but with composure, Jack Williams finds Tom Gross at centre half back. Switches it to Bazzo. So we're going to move it up the outer wing, the West Coast Eagles. Bazzo's kick is intended for Cole. Cole does well to take a contested mark. Read that nicely opposed to McMullen, and then pokes it into the pocket for Duff Tytler. So they were patient there, West Coast. Did it nicely, and Duff Tytler will have a shot from 45 out. On a tight angle though, hemmed up alongside the boundary line at right half forward.
I thought they nearly messed it up when they had the switch mark and then a handball to a player to put him under pressure. But yeah, there wasn't obviously enough forward pressure on the Giants. But every time, you said before, when they go out the other side, there's heaps of space and they just go around the Giants.
No, but I mean, it took a great contested mark from Cole to allow him to get that last entry. But Duff Taylor pushed really hard forward on Madden.
Just an easy shot in this quarter, Duff Tytler, and this one's across the face and missing everything. Out of bounds on the full. GWS lead by 11 points, 15 minutes into the second term.
So West Coast can't be wasteful.
Yeah, well, that's the difference in the game. The Giants are just more efficient at hitting the scoreboard when they go inside 50.
Giants come beyond defensive 50. Thomas with the kick now to find Grajewski. As you mentioned, Sado re-signed during the week. A couple more years. Long way from home here, though. Defensive half, up towards half forward. Madden spills it down here. Yeo on the rebound now, and they'll go off the half-back line here, the West Coast Eagles. Long kick members side. Shanahan beaten to it down there by Ralston. Pels it away here towards Iden. Shares it back, and now the whistle on play, which the throw signal. It's going to come back here for Connor Iden. One of those tacklers for high contact, in fact. So Connor Iden, the Giants vice-captain. 97th consecutive game. The short kick to find Joe Fonte at right half-back.
He's just one of those players you put his name on the board every week. Such a great player. Really, really consistent.
Joe Fonte, pick 44 from Claremont. Another WA boy. No one attacked that contest for West Coast. They allowed Cadman to float in and take the mark on his chest. Handball over the top to Cornelio. 51 out. Has Callum Brown all on his own. And West Coast defence just falls asleep yet again. That is really poor. And Cal Brown, looking at his second for the quarter, will have a shot from 40 out straight in front.
Yep, they got away with it. I would have loved Cadman to come in beautiful plane in front, hit up. That's what I've been asking him to do. On his left swing around, he could have just put that straight down Cal Brown's throat straight off the bat, but they got away with that extra handball.
So West Coast have had 8 more inside 50s. Cal Brown looking to put the Giants 17 points in front. And he has done so because he's a brilliant kick, the Irishman. It's the same old story for the Eagles. They look so good in so many areas of the game. But I guess without Ruben Ginbey and Harry Edwards, Jason Saddington, their two best key defenders, they just can't keep teams from scoring quickly on them. The Giants out to a 17-point lead, as I said, with 8 less inside 50s.
This is where I think the Giants structure their forward line is, let's isolate Cal Brown. Like, he's almost got the lesser of whatever's left in the Eagles' key defence department. Cadman up, Stringer's playing that roam, and then you isolate Cal Brown. He's had 2 shots on goal. That could be something you could exploit.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the key is Cadman up.
Yeah.
Let Cadman roam. That's the type of player he is. Let him get up, let him roam, and he's had a fantastic quarter, to be perfectly honest. Fantastic quarter. Very involved in the game of footy, but he's playing up higher, he's getting the ball through the middle of the ground, he's the connector that's getting it in. Cal Brown's the dangerous one at the moment, and I think Stringer's the other one they could spend more time deep.
New game high lead, 17 points. Harley Reid with the clearance though here for West Coast, goes himself, deep ball inside forward 50. Shanahan had a hold there on Himmelberg or vice versa, and it bounces through for a minor score. So again, quick clearance West Coast in the middle, but not making the most of that. The Giants will have it at fullback again with a 16-point lead.
One thing West Coast were able to do in the first quarter was get a few more lead-ups when they were hitting inside 50 in the front half. A lot of their plays being more sort of long inside 50, which the Giants defenders love.
Brilliant kick from Whitfield to find Sam Taylor from the kick in at left half-back. He goes short, further forward to Ash. Sends it to half forward. Bailey Williams with a strong lead, punches it away from the contest. And then gathers it at ground level. Got it to Harley Reid, squeezed the handball out to Herbert, tapped it out in front of himself. Ball in dispute in the middle of the ground, won by Oliver. Slipping over was Bazo. That allowed Toby Green to pick it up, kick deep into attack. Gruszewski there in the contest with Young. Young went to ground. Gruszewski gathered it, but Hamish Davis came in to provide some defensive assistance for the Eagles. Lay the tackle, ball spills out for a throw in. Right forward pocket for the Giants to lead by 16 points, 19 minutes into the second.
Umpire will chuck it back in. Madden up in front of Williams. Hamilton trying to control it there for the Giants. Goes to ground here and it will be balled up again. 40 out from the Giants. Attacking goal. It goes again. Eddie Williams down to Tim Kelly. Clears defensive 50. Unkind bounce there for Duff Tytler. Picked off by Lockie Ash of the Giants. Rebounds them back inside 50. This time the mark for Toby Green. 50 out. He's shaped to square it, but go back and he take his set shot here. The Giants skip up.
It's in his club bag, this one. He might even go to the barrel. Bring it out, Toby. Do the talk. Straight through the middle.
This is your last Giants home game,
according to Gubs.
I think it's
it's looking likely.
It's looking very, very likely. That's been the case over a number of months now. His future will not be at this club. He's a heart and soul player of this club across their entire time in the competition. Here he is. Continue their momentum here in this second quarter. Let's go from 50. Oh, they'll love that! The Orange faithful. A second goal today for Toby Green. And that set shot from range, which now puts them 22 points clear. We've just hit time on here in the second term. 9:2:56 plays 5:4:34. Sunday footy on ABC Sport with your experts Jason Saddington and Ryan O'Keefe.
That's good. We always knew that kick. He's always got that kick in his club bag. But what I'm liking about Lockie Ash, he's just kicking it long and just getting in there, not trying to bite off too much and getting his ambitions and abilities confused.
Yeah.
So I think that's. But the Giants, you can just see in this quarter, they've fixed up that overuse and they're being a lot more direct. They're getting it inside 50. So this quarter, I don't know what they've gone up inside 50s, but every time they've gone inside 50 this quarter, they've scored. So yeah, they're leading that. They're leading that count 8-7.
At inside 50s to 7 for the quarter. Eagles still ahead in terms of the inside 50s, but the Giants lead by 22 points. Toby Green with goal 449 of his illustrious career. As Kieran Briggs snaps the Giants into attack, gathered nicely by McCarthy, who can sprint away from half-back, has a third bounce, almost runs into trouble, and then spots up Elliot Yeo at centre-half forward. Yeo plays on quickly on his left, goes to a one-on-one. Duff Tytler might have been held, spills the way of Liam Baker, and Baker will kick into the post. He had a chance for his third goal of the game, Liam Baker. Tight angle. Thought he was a good chance to convert that. Crumbing in the forward pocket. The padding, though.
Missed opportunity there.
Giants lead by 21 points.
Ash finds Whitfield. Whitfield, in the 77th game of his second all-time on the Giants games list, behind the skipper. And I'll switch it back here. This members' side now with Iden and Fonte now marking at the junction of 50. Back to Connor Iden, who's the sole vice-captain, of course, in the absence of Jack Buckley, behind Toby Green. Whitfield from centre-half back. Throws it across now in some space. Harry Himmelberg. Nick kick down the line to find Alana. Sweeping hand pass forward now. The Giants to Cody Angove. Goes from 50 here on the run. Superb coast to coast for GWS. They're opening things up now. Opening up a 27-point lead as we approach half-time. On ABC Sport, Ryan O'Keefe and Jason Saddington.
It's much better play. Like they're finding the mark, the space. They're kicking. They're going forward. I'm liking this attacking sort of style from the Giants, which have corrected after quarter time.
I feel like in the first quarter too, West Coast probably a bit better at being closer and putting pressure on the ball carrier. Well, they had a lot of time and space there. I know it was a bit more of a kick mark way out of the defensive 50, and they got it across the other side, but every time they marked, they were able to just move it quickly because they just had time and space, free players getting off their opponents. I feel like West Coast just dropped off at this quarter in that part of the game, putting pressure on the Giants ball carriers.
Another of their West Aussies, Cody Angove, second career goal in his fifth career game. Spent most of this year in the VFL due to a hamstring issue, coming back from that. So here he is back in the side and back on the goal scorers list.
5 goals to the Giants to 4 behind for West Coast in this quarter.
9 of the last 10.
GWS with a 27-point lead, and they can go forward again here. Canelio got it from Oliver, found Whitfield in the middle of the ground, pokes it forward to Stringer. Barely went 15, he marked in front of Starcevic, now sells him some candy and kicks long into attack, top of the square. Shanahan, they've moved him back now, deep into defence. Not sure he got a touch on that, Job Shanahan. The ball went at a wicked right angle anyway after bouncing and through for a behind. So Shanahan back to stem the bleeding. West Coast move it through the right back pocket.
Carthy, short kick on the half volley. Duggan, is he paid the mark? I don't think he was
half volley looked to me.
On the half volley, but anyway, it was paid. Comes back here to Marcus Herbert. And there's plenty of open space here for a third bounce. And Herbert comes to this western side. It's marked by Liam Baker, West Coast co-captain. 2 goals so far today, but this slows the play down for a moment. Now it's back for Tyler Young. For an option and now cedes some ground.
The Giants have got him pinned in really well here. They're going to have to force him to go long down the line.
Shanahan waxing here with Tyler Young. Tyler Young still looks a little clueless here as he just punts it down towards half forward. Up in front, Himmelberg comes down for Canelio of the Giants, slays off the hand pass with McMullen, and ends up with Lockie Ash, and he'll switch on across the field here now for Toby Green. He's unmarked, 50 from goal. Right by the sticks, that goes short. He is marked by Jake Stringer. So he had the options plenty inside 50 with Toby Green, but Jake Stringer obliges with a mark. 30 out, almost directly in front.
Toby Green had a paddock out the other side. Very good, quick little hands to get out of trouble. Then Lockie Ash again long. Just get long out to space to Toby Green, who had an absolute eternity and could have done anything. Could have had a shot, but just picked off Stringer as they worked hard back there forwards.
He's getting away from West Coast now. It's Jake Stringer. In the bright sunshine here in Sydney, he lines up the kick in his 249th AFL game, and amidst more speculation, there might be a fourth club yet for him next year, and he misses on what was a pretty simple assignment. So a minor score for the Giants. As we approach half-time, it's the Giants at 10-4, 64, West Coast 5-5, 35.
Hasn't been his strong suit back into the year, Jake Stringer, has it? His goal kicking. Let's go back to the Essendon game. 0 goals, 7, lot of set shots.
Giants by 29 points. Frustration starting to build for the Eagles. Harley Reid and Jake Waterman sharing some words a moment ago after that passage of play from the Giants, and it's off hands on the wing. And out for a boundary throw in. Not the biggest crowd in here at the showground, it must be said. What's been a lacklustre GWS season, but still alive just in the wildcard race. If everything else can fall their way, and they can in fact win today, and then go and beat Adelaide next week. That's tough to do. Now still a chance, albeit a highly unlikely one, as Starcevic marks at centre-half back, shifts it out to the wing. Delana beats Duggan to the football. Gathered by Gross, keeps it in play. No, he doesn't. We have a boundary throw in on the outer side now. In fact, it's the last touch free kick. As Gross's handball missed Duggan. We're going to review this, though, the umpires.
Delano just needed to let it go before it would have rolled out. He kept it in, he would have got a lasso free kick.
There we go. It is a lasso free kick going the way of Joey Delano.
29 points. Here's the Giants lead here late in the second quarter. His kick overcooked here for Clayton Oliver. Reid makes the contest, bursting in. Mopped up, though, by Rouston of the Giants. Shares it back with Fonte. Slightly off balance with the kick, though. Does pick out that man Whitfield going inside 50. Too deep for Cadman's lead. Shanahan rebounds it here for the West Coast Eagles. And now Lockie Ash takes the intercept mark on the outer logo. So Giants still by 29. We've played 28 minutes in this second quarter. Sunday Footy ABC Sport. Sends the pass across here in good space. Iden wheels and goes now. Wide here towards half forward now for McMullen. Options inside 50 goes the shortest of those. I meant both literally and figuratively as far as his height. Harvey Thomas marks in the right forward pocket, 45 out.
It's the same again, though. It's just time and there's just a lot of space.
Oh, there's so much space now, yeah. The pressure the Eagles are putting on that first quarter is absolutely dissipated.
Harvey Thomas, one of the early goals in the game. Might have been their first goal, in fact, the Giants in the first term. Extend their lead beyond 5 goals as we approach the major break here in Sydney. Crosses the boundary line to kick. Left foot, looks pretty good here. Little man, big kick. Through for Harvey Thomas. And things bringing away from West Coast now. And the Giants look to reward their home fans with a win on their last assignment on their own deck. It's now a 35-point margin after 4 lead changes in the first term. 11-4, 70 plays, 5-5, 35, 29 played in the second quarter on ABC Sport. Your experts are Ryan O'Keefe and Jason Saddington.
And the other thing too is the Giants are getting forward entries this quarter, and West Coast now starting to panic just to launch it out. Giants are set up really well behind the ball and just getting repeat entries. So it's this negative cycle the Eagles are in. They're not putting enough pressure on the Giants or allowing them to get forward entries. And then it's just panic kicks out, then it's just a repeat entry, and we're just seeing that cycle.
Yeah, they're really caught in no man's land, aren't they? And they don't have the ball, West Coast. They're sitting free. They've got a lot of numbers back, but they're just not tight enough. There's some easy ball coming through from the Giants.
10 of the last 11 goals for GWS. West Coast do go forward now. Marked by Murdoch at centre-half forward. Well done by Bailey Williams. Murdoch by hand goes to Tim Kelly, who loads up by 51. Looking for a much-needed goal for the Eagles. Shanahan can't take the mark. Off hands and through for a rush behind. So the lead is 34 points now in favour of the Giants. Down to Declan Byrne on the boundary.
Yeah, it turns out Sam Taylor got a bit of a cut on his chin from that same collision that McCarthy got injured in. So he's headed down to the rooms early at half-time. A chance he'll get some stitches on that cut.
Watching the half-hour mark of this second quarter at the Sydney Showground. Hyde finds Lockie Ash. Still top the top 10 for ball users in the competition. Efficiency is not always the go for him. As you say, he goes long here, Ryan O'Keefe. That's what he's been doing in the game so far. And Toby Green takes a big grab on the other side, shoves away Willem Dersma. Now spends his kick towards half forward. Up there, Cadman second right, can't reel it in. Brown in the back goes Starcevic on him. Mopped up by Tom McCarthy of the Eagles. A short kick to find Duggan in the right half back. Swings it back inboard now for McCarthy, and Kelly controls things at centre half back.
15 seconds to go in the quarter. West Coast have to move it forward quickly. They should be getting word from the bench. Here's Lindsay at left half back. The clock will probably beat them. Up to half forward, Baker the target. There is a chance here for a quick kick. Time ticking down. The mark will be taken by Waterman, but he handballed on quickly to Baker. So I just wonder if there was any talk from the bench. Surely someone has to let them know.
They had the sign up there. They just got the 30 seconds or some sort of emoji up there to let them know.
They do have a tendency to do that a bit, West Coast.
He would have kicked that too, Jake, I reckon.
Lack of game intelligence as the half went on, but it's been a horror half for West Coast, a brilliant one for the Giants. They kicked 6 straight in that quarter. They were 11-4-70, West Coast 5-6-36.
2 goals each for Cadman, Brown, Thomas and Green for GWS. Singles for Angove, Grajewski and Riley Hamilton, who kicked his in that second quarter. Meanwhile, for West Coast, who did not kick a major so far, Liam Baker has 2, both in that first term. Singles to Waterman, Murdoch and Cole. Just quickly, full-time scores in the AFLW. Brisbane beat Essendon by 48 points at Windy Hill, and the Swans held on to beat Adelaide by 8 points at Unley. Underway in Coburn, late in the opening term, Freo v Port Adelaide. Port leads the Dockers by 8-4, so 1-2 plays 4 behinds, and the Giants play West Coast here in the AFL men's and women's double header. Meanwhile in Darwin, Bangladesh are 1 for 38. They lost that 1 wicket. Tanzit Hassan for a 5th ball duck bowled by Josh Hazelwood, but other than that, Shadman Islam and Mominul Haq have got Bangladesh most of the way there, requiring a further 19 runs for an historic win up in Darwin, and what it'll mean to them. You can hear the final stages right now via ABC Listen. Just look for the ABC, or look for the cricket ball button via our trusty app. And also underway shortly is that game at Docklands, the Bulldogs and Carlton AFL round 23, which will be consequential as far as the wildcard situation, which the Giants are still mathematically in the hunt for. Ryan O'Keefe and Jason Saddington, they lead by 34 points here against the Eagles. Your thoughts on the first half here at the Sydney Showground?
The second quarter is obviously where I think I've really liked the way the Giants have moved the ball. They've been the more kickings, particularly out of contest, and then going a lot more direct. I don't want to keep banging on, but they're overused to handball. It gets them into trouble, and I think today, well, particularly in that second quarter, the handball is just to get it to that kicker and able to go and get deep entries and give it to that talented forward line. And then out of their back half, they've been a little bit more patient and finding. Saying that, West Coast totally dropped off on their pressure that we saw in the first quarter. And what the Giants also did really well is they evened up the stoppage in the centre bounce clearance, which Eagles were dominant early. Because the Eagles are not winning that clearance as sort of dominantly, they're not getting the field position or getting that ability. And I think, what did the Giants have in that quarter? They had a truckload more inside 50s, and when they went in there, they scored because, as we said, I think both ends, the defences were getting a little bit overwhelmed by the opposition forward lines.
They took complete control of the Giants, and I think West Coast allowed them to do that a little bit, like you mentioned, Bebs, just with their pressure drop, and the Giants did use the ball better, but they had players free. They had a lot of space to be able to kick their way around. West Coast started to push numbers back. They really lost their way, I found, through that quarter. The longer it went, the more the Giants kept kicking goals. West Coast would get numbers back, weren't super tight. They tried to play slow at times, but then when they turned the ball over, they weren't set up super great for the ball to come back at them. And the Giants had space out the other side on a number of occasions. They got easy entries, they got easy shots on goal. I thought Cadman was terrific through that quarter up forward for the Giants. He got on his bike, he got up around the ground, he was running. And Cal Brown probably is that one as the deeper player we saw kick a couple of goals, and he was important for them as well. But, the Giants, they took control. They got to play the game the way they want to play it, didn't they? It was really on their terms. It was the way the Giants want to play. Behind the ball, they were able to get the extra number. That's what Iden and Taylor and Lockie Ash and Whitfield cash in on. And from there, they were just able to send it forward pretty easily. West Coast need to lift that pressure game again. And the Giants, well, you know, they did look better by not forcing the issue off halfback.
Exactly, and I think that when they just play the easy option, not try to be too cute, and that's what, you know, probably a criticism of someone like a Lockie Ash and probably Lockie Whitfield as well over the last few weeks. They sort of think, I can pull this miracle kick off rather than doing the reliable and turning over. And when they get that out of their game, that they are so effective as players. And as the forward line, like, as I keep saying, the Giants have got some potency up there. Give them an opportunity. And yeah, like the game of Cadman presenting, playing in front when he came up the ground. He's a tall, athletic guy to get up, move around, and rather than try and get the one over the back and getting a wrestle, because he's not that type of player.
He's a running jump.
Yeah. 6 goals to none in that second term and 10 in the last 11 in the game. How good Stephen Cornelio been in recent weeks as well?
Definitely.
A vital cog, excuse the pun, in that change for the Giants.
Well, he has. He's been there because he's been. Looks like he's fit and working hard, and he's getting to the contest. And generally, he's a kicker. Like he likes to. I like the way he uses the ball. He doesn't try and be too cute or overcomplicated, and he's just, you know, he's a class player with a lot of experience, and he has stepped up and been one of those senior players that they've needed. The other one too is Toby Green. He had a good game last week when he's up around the ball and he's getting busy around there because he's strong, he's clean, and he's dangerous when he gets around goal as well. But when he's sort of down and not really working that hard, he sort of lets his game down a bit. But when he's up and about and working hard and getting from contest to contest, he's such a dangerous player.
It's funny though, isn't it? It's almost positionally helps that too. If Toby's got to play up higher, get in up and stoppage and get back, it kind of forces you to work a little bit more. And that's when he's always at his best too, is when he's getting up and he's getting back, and he just reads the game so well that he can outsmart his opponent. He finds himself in good positions.
His form's been wonderful in the second half of the season, Toby Green. When they've needed him to go into the midfield, especially in the absence of Callaghan, they've needed him to prior to that because of Tom Green's injury as well. On the live ladder, GWS percentage is now above Carlton.
Yeah.
So if Carlton lose later today against the Dogs, and then to Freo next week, and the Saints lose to Gold Coast, and the Giants beat Adelaide, they can still make the wildcard spot. But they had to get past Carlton percentage-wise as well, and at the moment on the live ladder, they are just in front by 1 percentage point.
And Dogs v Carlton coming up very shortly as well at Docklands, which you can hear on ABC Listen, but of course stay with us here at the Showground. The sun's shining, and we'll see if West Coast, who came back from a similar deficit last week against the Pies, albeit fell short by 19 points, we'll see what the second half has in store for Andrew McQualter's men as well. The Giants by 34 points here at the Sydney Showground. More from Ryan O'Keefe, Jason Saddington, Daniel Garb, Declan Byrne and me, Brett Sprigg, very, very shortly. Check out our ABC Sports socials, and of course the cricket continues in Darwin. But right now, we will head to the ABC newsroom.
ABC News, hello, I'm Satyam Weinstein. The WA government says it will do everything it can to protect the state's share of the GST. Premier Roger Cook has posted a letter to social media asking the Prime Minister to maintain the current GST arrangement after an interim report from the Productivity Commission found the agreement is a costly and inequitable mistake. Mr Cook says the report's an attack on every hard-working Western Australian. WA Housing Minister John Kerry says that could see up to $6 billion ripped from the state's economy.
We've seen the East Coast states, a bunch of whingers, underperformers who want more money from West Australians. We have to do everything we can to campaign to ensure that our state's fair share is kept in place.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says the Commonwealth is continuing to work with the states and territories to negotiate a deal for a federal gun buyback scheme after New South Wales became the first state to join the scheme starting from November 2nd. New South Wales has been tightening its gun laws since the Bondi terrorist shooting in December last year, including new limits on the number of firearms an individual can own. Mr Albanese says the scheme will buy back more than 270,000 guns in New South Wales.
The fact is, there are more guns in Australia today than there were at the time of dealing with the Port Arthur gun buyback that occurred under the Howard government. This is about strengthening Australia's gun laws and keeping our communities safer.
Search and rescue officials in Indonesia say some villages have been completely buried after a large earthquake off the coast of Flores Island. Chelsea Hetherington reports.
The magnitude 7.7 earthquake was quickly followed by several powerful aftershocks, sending residents fleeing for safety. The quake damaged homes and businesses, leaving at least 47 people dead. Officials say the death toll is almost certain to rise, with areas near the epicentre of the quake still cut off. Local officials say some remote villages were buried, and damaged infrastructure and a lack of heavy equipment are hindering rescue efforts. The earthquake triggered a tsunami warning that was cancelled a few hours later, though some areas reported waves of up to 1 metre, with footage showing towns covered in mud and debris.
Authorities in the US state of Hawaii are warning people on the Big Island to stay off the roads and shelter in place as a powerful storm lashes the island. Hurricane Lala didn't make landfall as expected, skirting the south end of the Big Island, bringing strong winds and heavy rain. Authorities say despite the near miss, conditions are still life-threatening. Hawaii Governor Josh Green says it's a very dangerous storm.
Winds will start getting crazy tonight, and then the flooding rains will come. And so it's just not going to be safe to be out and about. When you get rain of that magnitude, you can be sure there are going to be landslides. There's going to be rockfall. There's going to be all kinds of debris.
Victorian Premier Ben Carroll is promising to double the number of police reservists to help free up frontline officers. The reservists, who will be former police officers, will be placed at stations across the state, assisting with administrative duties such as helping prepare briefs of evidence for court. The latest boost is on top of 200 reservist positions previously announced, bringing the total to 400. Mr Carroll says community safety is the top priority.
By recruiting additional reservists, this will free up police to be on the beat and on the street doing what they need to do, detecting and stopping crime and preventing crime.
Scientists say they're increasingly worried about a trend among social media influencers of filming themselves with dangerous sharks, with at least 3 people bitten in less than a year. Here's the BBC's Will Vernon.
Would you touch a tiger shark or grab a great white for the ultimate selfie? Videos showing influencers up close with sharks have racked up hundreds of millions of views online. But scientists say touching the animals isn't only risky, it can increase stress hormones, harming the shark's health. Researchers at the International Shark Attack File say they've also seen a marked increase in people getting bitten, trying to get footage with sharks. The message from experts: getting that perfect pic could come at a painful price.
And a 50-year-old woman has been reported for drink driving in South Australia after allegedly recording a blood alcohol reading nearly 6 times the legal limit in the southern Flinders Ranges. Police say officers pulled over a car at Quan for a mobile driver test, with the local woman allegedly recording a blood alcohol reading of 0.284. You're up to date with ABC News. Get more news at any time by downloading the ABC Listen app.
Every community has stories worth sharing. ABC Your Say is your chance to join the conversation. Tell us what's on your mind. Visit abc.net.au/yoursay.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Balls away of Toby Green off that pack. Middle of the ground, bouncing ball, deep in attack. Hamilton leads the way and gets first of all. He just won the foot race, Riley Hamilton, opposed to Liam Duggan, and the youngster puts the Giants 7 points up from a metre out. No one attacked that contest for West Coast. They allowed Cadman to float in and take the mark on his chest. Hamble over the top to Canelio, 51 out, has Callum Brown all on his own. West Coast defence just falls asleep yet again. That is really poor. Cal Brown looking to put the Giants 17 points in front, and he has done so because he's a brilliant kick, the Irishman.
Off the ash of the Giants, rebounds them back inside 50, this time the mark for Toby Green. 50 out, he's shaped to square it, but go back and maybe take his set shot here. The Giants skip up.
It's in his club bag, this one.
Continue their momentum here in this second quarter. Let's go from 50. Oh, I love that! The Orange faithful. A second goal today for Toby Green. And that set shot from range, which now puts them 22 points clear. Harvey Thomas crossing the boundary line to kick. Left foot looks pretty good here. Little man, big kick. Through for Harvey Thomas. And things Swinging away from West Coast now.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
and ABC Listen.
Yeah, the Giants with, they put the hammer down in that second term here at the Sydney Showground. 6 goals to none against the West Coast Eagles. Now kicked 10 of the past 11 in the game. The first quarter had 4 lead changes. Giants led by 1 and now 34 points. Their buffer at the major break here at the Sydney Showground. You're with me, Brett Sprigg, alongside Daniel Garb, Declan Byrne, and our esteemed experts, former Swan and Blue Jason Saddington, and two-time premiership winner and Norm Smith medalist Ryan O'Keefe. That's the situation here. I mentioned the game getting underway at Docklands for the Bulldogs and Carlton, which will be a decisive one as far as the wild card race, which the Giants are still mathematically in, by the way. Let's take our focus off the footy for just one moment and head to Darwin.
Webster around the wicket and he cuts, and that's going down towards the boundary. That could be it. That will be it. Bangladesh have won the game by 9 wickets. It's without doubt one of the great, if not the greatest upset in the history of Test cricket. Bangladesh have been looked upon as a minnow, as an underling really in the world of Test match cricket, particularly away from home. And their supporters are up and cheering here in Darwin. So remember that. Bangladesh beat Australia in Test cricket in Australia, in Darwin. That puts Darwin on the map as a Test venue too. They've won this game with a couple of legs in the air. They won by 9 wickets, with Mominal striking the ball away to the boundary to reach 30. And this is as big a win as Bangladesh have ever had, and probably one of the more embarrassing defeats that Australia have ever suffered in Test cricket. They came here with everyone saying, well, will it last 3 days? 2.5, maybe that'll be enough. And here we are on the 4th day, halfway through the 4th day, and Bangladesh have beaten Australia in their home patch by 9 wickets. Certainly their biggest victory since coming into Test cricket in the year 2000. And for Australia, a little bit of thinking to do before we get to Mackay. Congratulations to Bangladesh. That is a huge performance.
The final word there from Jim Maxwell, and yes, indeed, history in Darwin. 9-wicket winners, the Bangladesh Tigers against our Aussies, and yes, the fallout will be partly around giving Bangladesh their flowers, but also the scrutiny now on the Australians for that loss by 9 wickets at home to start this pivotal, vital 12 months of Test cricket, with tours away to South Africa, India and England, not to mention, of course, the home series here against New Zealand. So well done, as Jim Maxwell said there, to Bangladesh. 9-wicket victors in Darwin. The second Test starts in Mackay on Saturday. Not too far away from getting back underway here at the Sydney Showground. Daniel Garb, Jason Saddington, Ryan O'Keefe alongside us here. The West Coast Eagles are back out there. The Giants rejoin them. 34 points is our halftime margin.
So, Ryan O'Keefe and Jason Saddington. Andrew McQualter goes into the final year of his contract next year. Now, barring a massive shock, he gets next year. And we spoke about it in the pre-game. The honourable losses are no longer a factor next season. He needs wins, 7, 8 minimum, or he probably won't be in a job the year after. So I'd like to ask you two, do you think it's worthwhile the Eagles board to give him a contract extension simply to keep the Wolves at bay? Simply to give him a bit more security, to avoid the speculation which could impact a young coach and a young playing group, and just try and give him that cushion to work off so that that doesn't impact things? Or would you say, well, you haven't done enough, sorry, you're going to have to ride this out and win games early to see off the storm?
You wouldn't put a contract extension if he's not up to the mark next year. They're going to have to get rid of him.
Yeah, so do it now, I'm saying, so that next year he's just got a bit more security rather than panicking and having that pressure become a factor.
If I'm on the board, I'm looking, okay, this is where we're at. I don't think it's good enough. I'm not going to give it another contract extension, because if you have another year like this year, you can't make a change, can you? Like, there's security, like
Well, you could still pay him out. It's just going to cost a lot more.
Yeah, but history's littered with these scenarios, right? Where clubs, especially Victorian clubs, have done that extension a little bit too early.
Yeah.
And things go from bad to worse
Exactly.
over 18 months. We can't pay him out. That's what they don't want.
Because what could happen is, a contract extension, what we're doing is okay. I'm actually getting rewarded for what I'm doing. Like, for a player, they'd go, hang on, we'll just wait to the end of the season to re-sign you.
I'd wait.
Yeah.
I'd wait and see how it plays out. Now, if McQualter feels the pressure and his coaching changes because he's got under pressure because of his contract, well, then he's not the coach you want anyway, is he?
Yeah.
So if he needs that security to coach him better, well, then that's not the way you want to go. He should be able to just go out and coach him and be confident in the way that he's coaching, the way the team performs, that's going to get you the contract anyway. It's always a hard one too. It's like, well, is it the coach? Is it the style? Or is it the list? Is it the players you've got? It's balance. It's always a little bit of everything, but it's hard to say in West Coast.
Well, we heard from the interview earlier from his assistant, it's about a process, isn't a process coach. So regardless of what it should be about, is his processes good enough?
It's an interesting one because they could say to him, listen, you've got to get up to 7-8 wins. We're going to give you another year because we believe in you, but you've got to get this. And if you don't, well...
See what the second half process looks like here on ABC Sport. You are back underway with Daniel Garb.
And it's Bailey Williams tapping it straight down to Harley Reid. The Eagles with some work to do, trailing by 6 goals. The Giants will go forward again. Cornelio darts inside on Herbert, but then gave an unnecessary handball intended for Toby Green. It was slapped away from him. Herbert tackles. So Liverpool up, centre half forward for the Giants. 6 goal to zip, second term. Has put them in this excellent position. Reid with another clearance for the Eagles. Snaps it to centre half forward. Taylor, though, breaking away from Waterman. Winning that contest at the moment. Takes an important defensive mark and switches it across defensive 50 to Toby Mullen.
So they're 3 ins now, with, of course, Connor Stone, the late in for Toby Bedford. Mullen back in the side this week. Short kick to Himmelberg. Lays off the hand pass. Back here for Iden. West Coast try and force them back here, but Iden again goes forward to find McMullen by foot. Giants by 34. Pinpoint pass to find Cody Ango, his fellow inclusion this week. Down the corridor he goes to Cornelio. Marks 55 out for the Giants. Options are plenty inside 50. Shapes to kick. Was he off? Umpire said no. Now he goes to the pocket and honors the lead there of Toby Green. And he marks 40 from goal. Green might screw up here as well. No. He'll go back and take his kick and try to nail this from an identical spot as one of his previous long bombs in the first half to extend the Giants' lead.
Why would he even bother? He's closer than he was when he pinned that one back there. Like, go back and have a shot. Oh, look, that's, again, much better. They're except for when Himmelberg hand passed to Iden and put him under pressure. But that kick, looking for the options that are opening up, that kick mark game's been working well.
No Giant has played more games. No Giant has kicked more goals. And this is across the face from Toby Green. 35 points their lead. 71 plays 36 inside the first 2.5 minutes of this third term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Brandon Starcevic, two-time premiership winner at the Brisbane Lions. Brings it back in for West Coast. Sends it up to the wing. Jobe Shanahan the target. Himmelberg does really well. Worked him under the football. Falling back, didn't quite hang on to the pill. And dropped the mark. Now Graham tracking back. Gathers it for the Eagles. Young with a dangerous kick across defensive 50. Is able to find Liam Duggan. One of the co-captains alongside Liam Baker in this Eagles team. Doesn't have too many options, so just send it up the wing. Shanahan the target again. Madden's in a good spot. Shanahan!
What a grab.
What a superb take from this brilliant young key forward. Plays on quickly to Reid. And now chips it up to Baker. Jobe Shanahan with a wonderful leap into the back of his opponent and took the mark to go with it. Baker into the pocket, off hands, gathered by Whitfield. Up to the wing, Bazzo in the contest with Cadman. Did well, Bazzo, to gather it. Shares it with Young. West Coast into attack again. Chips forward from Tyler Young to Liam Baker.
Baker 65 from goal, sends it deep inside forward to 50. Bailey Williams is there. Socket forward now by Shanahan in the goal square. Mopped up by Angwood in the Giants' defence with Ash. Get away with it. With a kick now to Toby Green. And Toby Green controls the ball in the right back pocket.
That was an incredible hang on. That's up on Nick Madden too, one of the taller players out in the field. great ride. He's got terrific hands, Shanahan.
Tries to intercept this kick from Toby Green, but works it okay here for the Giants. Angove thumps it deep towards full forward. 2-on-2 down there. Stringer lays it out there in the path of Tyler Young. Now tackles him. And we'll ball up here, 40 out for the Giants, attacking goals. Scoreboard end. That scoreboard has the Giants leading by 35 points. We're seeing a couple of replays now of that Shanahan grab finally. Unbelievable. Back underway here. Yo bursts through the congestion. Sends it toward the outer side. Spilled down there by Lockie Ash. Was he held down there? He was by Rhett Bazzo. Free kick going the way of the Giants.
They call him Shanahan's, but that was more about the leap than the take.
Good form too. Didn't land on his feet. Smart. Always looks more spectacular when you come crashing down, doesn't it?
Special talent as Angove goes deep into attack for the Giants off hands. Gathered by Reed. Herbert's under pressure. Krzyzewski chasing him. Clever kick though from Herbert on his left in the left back pocket to find Duggan. Giants up by 35 points. Early stages of the third term. Duggan's kick looking for Shanahan on the other wing now. Beaten easily on that occasion by Taylor. We got it to Oliver. Now Angove. The pressure from the Eagles has dropped. And the Giants spear it into the pocket. And Toby Green has taken the mark. And he can have a shot here. It's about playing on for goal 450. In fact, he does play on. And that was rather silly from Toby Green. Not sure why he did that. Looking for Angove. The Giants have won it back anyway. The clearing kick. Picked off by Angwin.
Comes inboard. Oh, sorry, guys. I'll just, you know what? That didn't sound good, did it? That you can disguise it sometimes. That was just disgusting. Sorry.
Just like Toby's decision before. I don't know what he was doing. He was just that close. Just go back, have a shot. Like those little things.
Lockie Whitfield here at centre half forward, by the way, goes inside 50 and finds the lead of Cornelio, and he is closer to home, 30 out.
But it's decisions like that some of their senior players do that it just undoes all their good work. Like if they just played the percentages and played the simple game, which the best teams do. They just do the basics over and over and over again perfectly.
I don't blame you, Spriggy. That passage of play or the last couple of minutes, I was diving for the food too, something else to do.
We've had a few games like that this year, especially with the Giants. Steve Cornelio, the veteran, the inaugural Giant. He might be the last one left next year. He misses near side. So that's a let off there for the West Coast Eagles, and it is the Giants by 36 points. So 11-6 plays 5-6. We've played 6.5 minutes in this third quarter. Herbert goes beyond defensive 50. Madden double-fisted spoil out of bounds for a goal.
They're just really struggling for any sort of ball movement, West Coast, aren't they? They're either short chipping and then they're held up long down the line. They just can't get any energy into their attacking play at the moment, West Coast. They're just stuck in the back half.
Connor Stone's gone to Harley Reid, so that might be just something the Giants want to see, if he can do a run-with role for the future.
It was Rouston in the first half, now it's Connor Stone. Here's Thomas to Oliver, centre half forward, the Giants. Clever handball from Fonte to Stone, but that kick is picked off by Herbert. Deep in defence for West Coast too. Just second to every contest now. Struggling to put any sort of pressure on the play. Herbert shares it with McCarthy. He pokes it forward. That's a really clever kick to find Jack Williams. And they get moving now, the Eagles. Here's Gross in the middle of the ground. Pokes it to centre half forward. Mark's taken by Cole. Assessing his options. He'll spread it out wide, and Elliot Yeo has taken the mark. And this will test his ageing legs, Elliot Yeo. He'll kick from 50, 45-degree angle to the right.
Difference that time, West Coast, they're able to turn and assess pretty quick. They get the short kick, they'd mark it, they turn, assess, they had another one up the corridor they kept using.
Yeo will just spot it up to the top of the square, and Shanahan almost took another big contested mark, got to the front of the back, 2 hands to it, couldn't quite bring it down. They fall on the football. We'll have a ball up, 20 out from the Eagles' goals. They need the next one desperately.
That's good signs from a young key forward who could maybe be a little bit intimidated. He's launching at the ball and at the contest. That's really good signs.
Ollie Reid turns tackler on Sam Taylor. Lock again inside 50 here for the West Coast Eagles. Down here it comes. Graham's kick smothered down there by Connor Iden. Waterman bursts through a pack now to Baker. Back to Graham. And he snapped. Not enough room. Travels towards Durkman in the pocket. Iden sees it out of bounds for a throw-in again. About 20 around from the West Coast attacking goal at the Stadium Australia end here at the Olympic Park precinct in Sydney. The Giants by 36 points. 8.5 played in the third term.
Willem Dersma, just the 2 handballs for the game. Perhaps his quietest game of his burgeoning AFL career, and he's tackled here by Iden. Maybe he is showing some signs of fatigue.
I didn't even know he's playing.
He hasn't done much. Here's Jack Graham. Got it to Jack Williams. He throws it on the boot quickly. And that got a horrible bounce. Just a metre out from the line. It was a wicked right angle. And threw for a behind as a result. So the Giants' lead is 35 points. And we've gone 9 minutes in the third term here at the Sydney Showground. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. You're with Brett Sprigg.
Worth mentioning as well last week, yes, it was wet conditions in Canberra, but the Giants had 36 marks for the game, which I think they're now into the 60s or something, which is a normal game tally. Intercepted here by the West Coast Eagles. McCarthy got it back here, and now Williams goes closer to home. That's Jack looking for the target down there in Dersma. Angwin mops up in defence now for the Giants. Thomas, and now Ash walks around Dersma, coughed the footy up here. Cole tries to trap it in, lays the tackle on Himmelberg. McMullen gathers that hot footy now and just goes beyond defensive 50 by foot for the Giants. It'll bounce there in the contest with Starcevic and Stringer. Starcevic fires the hand pass here for Graham, the former Tiger, across the half-forward line. It'll bounce down there for McCarthy, inside 50, and unmarked out there is Jack Williams. And he takes a pretty simple grab, 35 out on a 45-degree angle.
There's a key contest there by Starcevic to win that. The ball almost went over the back and it would have been Giants all the way, but key contest wins it, and then they were able to... I think the Giants' defence was really folded back there, so there wasn't much pressure when they went inboard and out the other side to a free player in a paddock of space.
This is non-negotiable here for West Coast. If they're not to simply watch this game wither away to a 10th straight defeat. A young lad from Willetton and East Fremantle, Jack Williams with a set shot. Shaved the post on the way through. So a minor score for the West Coast Eagles. 5-8-38, trailing the Giants who are 11-6-72. 11 go on third quarter. Declan Byrne on the boundary.
Just quickly on Dersma, he's been getting a fair bit of attention throughout the game on his hip and lower back. So, yeah, he's been spending more time forward, but definitely wincing in pain, both here on the bench and then out in the field as well.
It'll be a last touch free kick to the Eagles. Ash's clearing kick from the defensive goal square. Wasn't touched by anyone. So Cole on the wing. Giants up by 34 points. Sends the Eagles back inside attacking 50. Dersma falls over easily in that contest. Gathered by Murdoch. Peeled for one high. And with a secondary tackle on McMullen. Dersma with a tackle there, and then Graham on Stones. We'll have a ball up in the right forward pocket. Yeah, he's struggling, the number one draft pick. And maybe the lengthy season is just getting the better of him a little bit.
It's not just a lengthy season. There's a lot of travel from Perth.
Absolutely. Know all about that, Sato, don't worry. Cole, hand pass has bounced here off one of those Giants and now kept alive momentarily before it's taken out of bounds again by Harvey Thomas. Back home next week, the Eagles against Hawthorn. That's the Sunday night game, the very last game of the AFL home and away season, round 24. Guy tosses it back in, rising above down there, Duff Tytler. Down it comes. Graham dispossessed in the tackle. Umpire does all the Giants tackle. They'll take advantage here through Angwin. Kicks to the outer side. Clean bowled the man out there in Brett Bazzo. And in the end, it's locked in on that outer wing. It's dug and brought to ground by Mullen out there. Was it Rouston? The ball up in the air here. Giants by 34 points. 12 gone third term.
Briggs taps it forward to Rouston. Oliver fell over. The ball spilled free to the advantage of Rouston. Gave it to Toby Green. Got to work it forward. Bazzo gathers it in defensive 50. Shares it with Tim Kelly. Now Hamish Davis up to the wing. It's a poor kick. Jack Williams was the target, but he kicked it straight to Sam Taylor on the logo.
Just me, we're seeing shades of the old Sam Taylor come back into the game today. A couple of intercept marks.
He's had a good game. Waterman with the one goal. That's his direct opponent. That was on the run. It wasn't in a contest. Giants chip it around defensive 50. Ash takes the mark, leading by 34 points. Blitz the Eagles in that second term, 6 goals to none. Bit of an arm wrestle to start the third. Ash short to Hamilton. Now they can get their running game from defensive 50 going. Stone's kick though is ugly, but Callum Brown has taken the mark. Just fell into his lap. Perhaps the intensity defensively wasn't strong enough from the Eagles, and Cal Brown will have a shot at his third goal from 50 out on a 45-degree angle to the right.
That's the advantage of playing in front as a forward, isn't it? So he just
on the move.
Yeah, on the move. Read the drop ball that went down like poorly flown helicopter, and he's going to have a shot for third goal, isn't he, Tom Brown?
Cal Brown.
Cal Brown, sorry.
He is, and he is normally a very accurate striker of the ball, and he is again. That sails through at the top of the post. A beautiful kick. So Cal Brown with 3 goals, and the GWS lead is now 40 points, 12-6-78. West Coast 5-8-38. Seemingly a winnable game for West Coast on paper, even if they were outsiders. And this is starting to get a little bit ugly for Andrew McWelter's men.
Now, importantly as well, at Docklands underway there, the Bulldogs 2-1-13, Carlton 1-2-8. So far so good. The Giants need to win both of their remaining games. Hope that Carlton lose both of their remaining games and the Suns beat the Saints next week. That's the equation for Adam Kingsley's men as far as their faint top 10.
Well, who knows what the Bulldogs team, they could turn up and be absolutely unbelievable, and so not quite sure there.
You got no trust in any of the teams who are fighting this out. Do you trust the Giants to beat Adelaide? Do you trust St Kilda to beat Gold Coast?
There's a few hurdles to clear there, I reckon.
Yeah. They're all going to make up the numbers anyway.
Giants by 40. Bailey Williams down to Yo. West Coast Eagles clearance. High inside forward 50, 3-on-3. Himmelberg spoils it away. Murdoch over around the ball here. Mopped up now by Himmelberg. Shares it with Lockie Whitfield. Calls the play upfield here, and a little too deep goes his kick for Stringer. Collected by Bazo. Starcevic knocks it down here, but Helio gathers here for the Giants. Whitfield into the back of him goes Tom Gross. And the umpire will ball it up, not far from the interchange gates. The Giants control things here to the tune of 40 points, 15 gone in the third term.
So this is where, like, Bazo is footy smart. He just lets it go. He gets a free kick, but he keeps it in, then tries to play on. Like, it's just these things that the players need to get their footy smart, so their footy IQ up.
You're saying still grasping the lasso,
yeah,
let it go.
He just had to let it go instead of taking it and then put himself under pressure, and he would have got the free kick.
Can you get done insufficient intent, but letting it go?
Boundary thrown in front of the benches on the wing. Madden with the tap, gathered by Yo, but he's turned it over. Hamilton dropped the chest mark though. It's a poor kick by Yo. He had Thomas in support, running off him. He tumbles one inside 50. Bazo does well to gather it. Herbert's under pressure. Got the handball free to Bazo. Now sweeps it wide to McCarthy. He did well to find some space. His kick though was almost cut off. Yo was slow to get the ball moving, but won a free kick against Rouston. He's had a lot of games in a row, Elliot Yo, so his body's holding up. Perhaps not moving as freely as he once did. Giants leading by 40 points as Yo will pump this up to half forward. Bailey Williams the target. Good leap on him. But again, Taylor in the front of that contest is able to guide it down over the boundary line. So thrown just forward of the wing. Playing some really good football, Sam Taylor. The West Australian, two-time All-Australian, of course. And the club champion at this club. That state of origin injury kept him out for 12 weeks, and the Giants, amid some other injuries, haven't recovered.
Hadden v. Williams in the ruck. Williams signing last month for 6 more years as clubs look to shore up their tall stocks. Comes to the ground here, but Jack Graham couldn't keep it alive for a throw-in. So Sam Taylor, it's a curious one, Garby. There's been talk around whether there might be a West Australian club in his future the next couple of years, with a couple more years on his contract at the Giants. But I also think there's probably an opportunity for leadership as well. Could well be one of those future vice captains or captains of the Giants. If we expect their current one does move on. Clayton Oliver dispossessed, towed forward by Duggan only as far as Whitfield with the Giants off half back. Herbert out to meet it, takes on Joey Delana, and now wrapped up ball and all is Hamilton.
Well, that's an interesting one, Springer. If you think Toby Green's going, who is their captain then?
Probably Tom Green.
Tom Green.
If he stays as well, Tasmania are calling for him.
That's right.
They're not going to give it to a player they think he's going to leave the year after.
I think Toby Green's impact goes beyond just the captaincy, but here they go. The West Coast Eagles with Tyler Young, kicks inside 50. Himmelberg. Good body work down there on Bazo. Beg your pardon. Shanahan takes the mark. And turned over here, though, Kelly from 40 out for the Eagles. He misses the left-hand side. So 5-9-39 trails the Giants 12-6-78. 18 gone third term because, as I'm saying, Toby Green, very few players have had as much impact on their club than he has. But there are better players in the competition, but as far as the heart and soul of one club's fabric, it's going to be a big loss.
Tom Green's not going to Tassie. He's a Canberra boy. As if he's going there.
Well, money talks, and
similar climate.
They've got plenty to spend, and he does. He's always a big advocate for free agency and player movement. Tom Green hasn't done much to.
Everyone's got a price.
Dilute the speculation. that one's well and truly on as Oliver gathers it on the wing. Handball over the top to Delana. Delana pokes it forward. This will set up nicely for Hamilton again. Riley Hamilton gathers and kicks through another one on the run, like he did in the second quarter from the goal square. The Giants lead out to 45 points. Hamilton's second of the game. 13-6-84. West Coast 5-9-39. So, Sato.
Yes.
Sam Taylor, you just keep hearing speculation that West Coast need a key defender and might be putting something forward to his management and to the Giants. You're connected here. You've worked at the club. Any chance that they even have a discussion, GWS, around the Sam Taylor move to West Coast?
I don't think the Giants would want to have a discussion about it.
What if he comes to them and says, I'm open to it?
But it's
not that the Eagles are selling themselves well here, by the way.
I think it comes back to what everyone's got a price, so there's always a dollar amount that makes you think and want to talk about it, doesn't it? Sam Taylor's not the type of person that would be looking. He's very loyal. He's very committed where he is. So I don't think it's something he'd go search for. But if West Coast come, well, and it's a crazy offer, of course you can look at things.
3 minutes played in the third term. Ali Reid's clearance will come back here for a whistle. I think he was felled after the fact here, so it may even come back for a West Coast free kick. It's with Elliot Yeo. Attacking side of the bullseye. Loads up to the hot spot here for the Eagles. Up in front down there, Shanahan. Angwin collects in defence for the Giants. And now Whitfield tumbles his kick toward defensive 50. Out to meet it, Lindsay. It's dumped at a big tackle. And that was nicely done out there by Rouston. And throw it back in again on the junction of 50 at West Coast's attacking end. But the Giants do lead here by 45 points at the 20-minute mark of this third quarter.
Bailey Williams and Nick Madden do the ruck work again. Madden punches it away. Delana went without it. Gathered by Baker, who did kick 2 goals in that first term, but hasn't done too much since. And he does lose the handle on it. So another boundary throw in, left half forward for West Coast, who are looking at their 10th loss in a row.
They've struggled to find the big sticks. West Coast.
Yeah.
They've kicked good 6-7 plus behinds in a row.
And that's been a story of their season as well, to go with the inability to stem the flow of attack to the opposition. So that's a pretty ordinary recipe as we have another ball up in the middle of the ground for winning games. You can't kick yourself, and the other team goes forward inside 50. You can't stop them.
Yeah.
Around the ground, they're actually mixing it with a lot of teams more often than not.
Well, the football here from Yeo, distracted by Liam Duggan. He kicks inside 50. Back with the flight, Ash. Shares a hand pass with Fonte and now Delana. They go boundary side here, the Giants through hand. Cornelio. Paid it off back to Fonte, who spent it before he had it. And now Kelly dives in there for West Coast. Reid, his handball picked off looking for Duggan. It's in the hands out there of Delana. Keeps it moving by hand again. Lindsay up there against Hamilton. And now Tyler Young for the West Coast Eagles does rebound them from left half back. And Elliot Yeo takes the mark forward of halfway. And he gets off the hand pass here as well, infield to Reid. And now Duggan, the left footer, raking ball inside 50. Up in the pack again, Shanahan. It'll be knocked through for a minor score at the Stadium Australia end. West Coast just can't find the sticks. They've not kicked a goal since late in the time on in the opening term. So margin now 44 points the Giants' way.
It was cheeky from Liam Baker. Went to supposedly kick a loose ball and kept Lockie Whitfield, who didn't quite appreciate it. Gave him a little bit of a look as he took the defensive kick in. The Giants win it on the wing. Delana with another good handball to Rouston. Hamilton over the top. They've got numbers out the back here. Cal Brown has kicked 3 goals with a long ball to Toby Green on his own, and he's taken the mark. He had a West Coast defender coming the other way in Hamish Davis, but Toby Green paid him little respect, really, the way in which he took that mark, and he'll run around and snap goal 400. And no, he won't. He hit the post.
Wow.
15 out straight in front. He shakes the head, the Giants champion. That was for goal 450 of his career, and he's missed an absolute soda.
He's had a couple of times. He's had so much space on that open fat side. So, yeah, the Eagles' defence is just lacklustre.
Riley Hamilton, by the way, keeping an eye on him on that far side of the ground in the hands of the trainers. So we'll get Declan to update us very shortly once there is some news on the camera lad. Pack forms on the wing. Trying to find the footy here. Dersma brought to ground in the Madden tackle. Angwin beaten to it by Harley Reid. Hand pass picked off though by Lockie Whitfield of the Giants. His hurried kick. Starcevic in the contest with Cadman. And now it's run toward that boundary line for a throw-in. Giants by 45 points here, 24 gone in this third quarter. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. Nice day for it. Sunny conditions. The shade of these western stands. Well, it's sort of a north-western stand. It's not a true orientation here at the Sydney Showground. Briggs down here. Kelly fights it through the air. Graham's handball picked off. Camilio tries again now for the Giants. And now Connor Stone pedals it to advantage. Clever kick inside 50. It was slick work by Tyler Young. Tries to break the stringer tackle. Ball bounces here to Kelly. They're way off half back. Eagles to Cole. His kick was covered though by Stone. And as a result, out of bounds for a throw-in at right half back for West Coast. Left half forward for the Giants. The home side leads here by 45.
Connor Stone's been busy. He's doing that role. He's doing that role on Reid and curved his influence and been busy himself.
The West Coast have kicked 9 behinds in the last 2 quarters, without a goal since the first term. Giants by 45 points. Bailey Williams with a big leap in the ruck contest, and Briggs has given a free kick away. They're trying to block Williams out of that ruck contest. So Bailey Williams at right half back for West Coast, just pumps it up to half forward. Shanahan the target along with Dersma. Iden takes it rather too easily, gave it back to Whitfield, and that's a strong tackle by Jack Graham on Brian Angwin. So a boundary throw in forward of the wing for West Coast. You are 5-10-40, inaccurate yet again. The Giants 13-7-85. Reid with 22 touches for the Eagles. Kelly 21. Whitfield and Ash, the two dynamos off half back, both with 24 for the Giants. It's just punched over the boundary line from Briggs and Williams, the two number 32s, and we'll have another throw in from the exact same spot as the last.
So mentioning that whole thing around Bailey Williams, who recommitted last month for 6 more years, and you mentioned Kieran Briggs, might be fielding an offer from Richmond for maybe as many as 4 years. As I said, clubs trying to sort of shore up their ruck stocks. Free kick here going the Giants' way. The aforementioned Briggs in that contest with Williams. And now there's more afters here with Clayton Oliver having felled Milan Murdoch. Back here with Briggs at left half back. And the local product, Kieran Briggs, goes short by foot to find Lockie Ash.
It's like the old backyard stink, wasn't it? Who's going to get the last push on who?
Ash chips it up to Whitfield. Giants to go into attack again. Long ball from Whitfield. Gruszewski with a lovely mark. That's a beautiful leap. And at the highest point possible in that contest, Max Gruszewski took the mark, both arms extended out. And he can try and put the Giants out to a 50-point lead. 51 it would be if he can convert his second of the game.
Just good when he runs and jumps, isn't he? Leaps, strong. Yes, as we mentioned before, he's one of those players you can look like a future forward line to build around.
Well, it's much like Shanahan at the other end for West Coast. If you let Gruszewski run and jump, you let Shanahan run and jump, you're going to make the ball with it.
He's been starved of opportunities. The Giants have committed to him moving forward with a new 2-year deal. And this one is pulled to the left. So 46 points they lead by. It's clearly the Cadman and Gruszewski show moving forward. What will happen with Hogan and Stringer and Toby Green for that matter remains to be seen at GWS.
Got some bad news, Giants fans. Carlton lead the Dogs by 13 points late in the opening term there. 4-3-27 plays 2-2-14. Of course, the Blues must lose both of their 2 games at the Giants to somehow find their way into the wildcard spot, which does appear very unlikely. Harley Reid tumbles a kick towards half forward. Waterman lays it off here by hand to Cole. Centering ball down to the top of the square. Baker now fighting through it. Ross brought down by Iden. The umpire says holding the ball. And Iden's tackle is rewarded. Fullback for GWS. 46 points the home side's lead. 28 gone here in the third term. Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
And really good down back, Connor Iden. Kicks to Fonte in the right back pocket. Up to the wing. Over the head of the contest. That was Green and Hoff is down and hurt. The Giants move it forward through Angove. Kicked into his teammate in Gruszewski. Brady Hoff still down, and he's in a fair bit of trouble here. The West Coast defender in the hands of the trainers now, and the arm's gone up to the bench, so they'll stop play here for Brady Hoff to get some treatment.
Gruszewski ran him right across the player then. The kick got right in the way.
Looks like a midriff sort of problem for Brady Hoff around the rib stomach area, but he's running away from the trainers now, so that's a good sign.
Knee in the stomach in the marking contest. Oh, totally legal. Nothing wrong with that.
That would hurt, though. Seems to be okay, so that's a good sign for the Eagles. They trail by 46 points, though, late stages of the third term.
And it comes. Briggs trying to feed Oliver. Oliver gets hands to it. Back to his big man, Briggs. Through traffic. Connor Stone now from the pocket. Running shot, and he misses across the face. Minor score for the Giants. 13-9, 87. So this quarter they've kicked now, 2 goals, 5 themselves to West Coast, 4 behinds. Ollie Hamilton, by the way, is out there still, so no issue for him after he was in some discomfort earlier. And that is 3/4 time here at the Sydney Showground. So the Giants just further take control of this contest on this Sunday afternoon. Callum Brown kicked his 3rd goal in that 3rd term. A couple each for Toby Green, Aaron Cadman, Harvey Thomas, and the aforementioned Riley Hamilton, with Grajewski, Angove, and Stringer's got no goals 3. So Grajewski and Angove with singles for GWS. Meanwhile, for the West Coast Eagles, again, no goals. So goalless in the 2nd and 3rd terms here in Sydney this afternoon. Baker with 2 singles to Waterman, Murdoch and Cole. Margin is 47 points at the final change. And this is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
I'm Sana Kadar. Join me to explore the psychology behind the biggest questions in our lives, from relationships to stress levels to solving crime.
Your lie detection ability approximates chance.
Search All in the Mind on ABC Listen.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Step it up the wing. Shanahan the target again. Madden's in a good spot. Shanahan!
What a grab.
What a superb take from this brilliant young key forward. That's short to Hamilton. Now they can get their running game from defensive 50 going. Stone's kick, though, is ugly, but Callum Brown has taken the mark. Just fell into his lap. Perhaps the intensity defensively wasn't strong enough from the Eagles, and Cal Brown will have a shot at his 3rd goal. Normally a very accurate striker of the ball, and he is again. That sails through. At the top of the post. What a beautiful kick. So Cal Brown with 3 goals. Oliver gathers it on the wing. Hamble over the top to Delana. Delana pokes it forward. This will sit up nicely for Hamilton again. Riley Hamilton gathers and kicks through another one on the run, like he did in the 2nd quarter from the goal square. Giants lead out to 45 points. Hamilton's 2nd of the game.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
The Giants by 47 points at the final change. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport across ABC Radio, News Radio and ABC Listen. Currently at Docklands, it's late stages of the 1st term there, where Carlton 5-3-33 lead the Western Bulldogs 3-20. A massive game as far as the wild card make-up there. Essendon faces Sydney. That's where we're off to next. Most of you listening to us where you are now, off to the Bombers and the Swans at the MCG. So that coming up across ABC Radio, News Radio and on ABC Listen, AFL Extra. In the AFLW, wins earlier to the Swans over the Crows by 8 points, and Brisbane beat Essendon by 48. Currently at Coburn, Port Adelaide leads Freo by 18 points there as well. 4-4 plays 1-4 in the 3rd term. The Giants face West Coast here at the Showground in Game 2 of a massive Sunday afternoon double-header. And speaking of massive, the margin gets even more so for the Giants here. 47 points is their lead. Ryan O'Keefe and Jason Taddington make sense of it here for us on ABC Sport.
I thought that was your segue to Pebble. Speaking of massive, Ryan O'Keefe to talk us through the 3rd quarter. No, it wasn't. That's okay.
well below playing weight these days. Now more cycling weight.
I meant like massive, like built massive, not.
Just a massive name.
Yeah.
I always pump him up.
Massive, strong rig. The highlight of that quarter is probably the massive mark from Job Shanahan.
Yeah,
it was a huge hangover. Nick Madden up here on the wing, which was the highlight for West Coast. It's probably the only highlight we got the quarter out of them. Gee, they've struggled to hit the scoreboard. Well, we've got 8-9 behinds in a row for West Coast. Haven't kicked a goal since the 1st quarter. Their ball movement's really dropped and stagnant. They're struggling to get the ball out of back half at times and generate any sort of play. The Giants, it wasn't their greatest quarter of footy either. They had more of the play. probably wasteful at times. Toby Green missed an easy one. He passed one off that he probably shouldn't have passed off as well. But, it was a pretty lacklustre quarter all round, really. Nothing to write home about from both teams other than, the Giants just able to extend the lead.
The interesting to your point about the Eagles not having any forward connection or forward, influence is they're still winning the clearances. They're 10-5 up in centre bounce clearances, and they're only one behind in inside 50s.
Yeah.
Now, you suggest that should be a pretty close game, or even Eagles being in front, not 40-odd points behind. And I think to your point is that besides Shanahan, who's competing, there's no one else really down there that's sort of making a contest, and they're smalls. And then the midfielders, beside that sort of first frontier of midfielders of Reid, Kelly, and Williams in the ruck, that's it. They've got no backup. Where what I've been impressed with the Giants is they've been spinning a few players in there, and what I will say is to the local lads of Delana and Hamilton, they've been really impressive. I think Delana's probably had the best game I've seen him play in Giants colours. He's been really good up and about, and he's been spending a bit of time up around the stoppage. So, yeah, I think for the Giants, I've been a lot more impressed with the way they move the ball. They play that more kick mark. They're looking for space. They're working. They're going a little bit more direct along to their forwards, and it's working for them. Even saying that the Eagles' pressure is not probably up to a top 4 team, but I think this is a much better blueprint ball in hand for the Giants.
Yeah, and I think the other positive for the Giants too, I feel like we've seen shades of old Sam Taylor.
Yeah.
He obviously had the injury earlier in the year and only got back sort of that midway mark, but hasn't really got going into here. But today we've seen a few intercept marks, certainly through that quarter. The more as it's building, certainly someone like Sam Taylor they're looking at to really jump into next year and get things going for them. But some shades of the best of Sam Taylor have shone through that quarter.
Well, he's had the better of Waterman. Waterman just the one goal. That was on the run. Hasn't taken any decisive marks around the ground, and that's meant the Eagles have struggled to really stabilise things in attack.
Into quarter number 4 we go. Madden against Bailey Williams. Picked up by the Giants' big man. Kelly smothered it. Ricochet's out here now for Davis. Angwin, though, shared a path. Oh, that was a chuck off the deck there from Clayton Oliver, and that will be a West Coast free kick as a result. The incorrect disposal. So Yo off here to McCarthy. Goes bounding away from half back and finds Kelly on the lead out wide at right half forward. Inside 50. Speaking of leads, Waterman comes up and does take the mark on the junction of 50.
That's good lead and good set of hands. A lot of pressure at Sam Taylor right up his backside there.
It's going to be a tough kick, though. He's right on the 50, on the boundary line.
When you've got the yips, this angle might actually help.
1 goal, 1 today. 47 goals, 53 on the year for Jake Waterman. He's out there in the bright sunshine, the distant side of the ground. Crosses the boundary, lets fly with that right foot, and it is missing to the near side. So 1 goal, 2 for Jake Waterman. And the West Coast they trail the Giants here by 46 points early stages final quarter.
That wasn't the secret either. Well, it's about maybe just playing on the run, Waterman.
You do wonder why they haven't moved him up the ground, considering his struggles kicking a goal. Just like centre half forward and maybe get away from the big sticks a little bit. All right. Here's Oliver. Breaks free from the tackle from Duggan on the wing. Over to Thomas, and now back to Fonte. And he switches it across defensive 50. Himmelberg in the sunshine there on the outer side. Takes the mark. Lays on up the wing. Clever kick to Lockie Whitfield. Jack Williams gets a hold of his jumper, but Whitfield got the handball free to Angwin. Pokes it forward to Toby Green. 55 out.
He found some time and space. Toby Green today.
He might go long again, decides just to pass it into the pocket. Off hands, Bazlo's under pressure. Good tackle on him by Cadman. We'll have a ball up in the left forward pocket. So Toby Green stuck on 449 goals in what might be his last home game here at the Sydney Showground. Giants leading by 46 points.
Now it comes here for the Eagles, and Elliot Yo, right, goal to the turf by Nick Madden. Deep in that left forward pocket. The Giants setting up here for a forward 50 stoppage. Madden palms it down. Davis, Duggan under the Hamilton pressure. Now the West Coast co-captain locked in for a ball up once more.
A lot of numbers in there. West Coast Giants going in with them. Plenty of players around this stoppage.
Giants by 46. Toby Green on hands and knees. Put in there by one of those West Coast defenders. The umpire waiting and saying, no, we'll ball up again.
They've done well in this situation, though, Giants all game. They've set up really well behind this. They'll either put pressure on the Eagles to hurry it out, then get a repeat entry for score.
Madden down to Cornelio. Couldn't take it cleanly. Kelly does. Gets it to Gross. Handball to Bazo. West Coast can run it out of half-back. Dersma's been moved to half-back now to try and get into the play. That's just his third possession of the game. Gave it to Tyler Young. Kicked up to the wing. Baker there. Tried to get the handball free, but Fonte read it beautifully. Won it off him. Iden now gathers the loose ball, gives it to Ash. Clever kick on the left to Connor Stone in the middle of the ground. Big contest win there by Fonte on Baker. Stone switches it, bounces once in front of Himmelberg, who gathers it, handballs it out wide to Angwin. Further forward now by hand to Cornelio. 49 out, into the pocket, and Gruszewski on a nice lead, marks in front of Bazo. Once again, strong overhead, and he can have a shot from the pocket. Max Gruszewski looking for his second of the game.
You called it right from when that stoppage was in the D50, Ryan. As soon as West Coast went out the other side, the extra number, Connor Iden just gets across and helps Giants win the ball back, able to go back through the corridor, out the other side and get a nice lead up.
Max Gruszewski snapping it around from 35, and it's across the face. Giants lead by 47 points, 13-10-88. West Coast 5-11-41, early stages of the final term.
At one stage they were 10-2. So the Giants have, kicked 3 goals, 8 since that point late in the second quarter before half-time. Put the Eagles away even more so here. Lindsay drives it beyond defensive 50 here for West Coast. Out the back. The fall there for Whitfield. Back to Lockie Ash. And off a step. Await the ball there for Cornelio. Pat Williams makes the contest. Tim Kelly on the rebound here. Hand pass off here to Gross. Down the line to Yo. Still running here. Hoff evades one tackle and straightens up from 30 out. And Brody Hoff with a much needed goal. And their first goal for quite some time, West Coast. Not since the first quarter. They're on the board here with some nice chain. And Brady Hoff, the beneficiary for West Coast's 6th major of the day. 6-11-47. They trail the Giants who are 13-10-88. We've played 5.5 minutes in this final term. And your ABC Sport experts are Ryan O'Keefe and Jason Saddington.
Well, Lockie's Ash kick deserved that. I don't know what he was looking at there. He kicked it straight to Eagles. He's been good for a couple of quarters, and then he pulls that one out of the bag, which he does every so often. But I think that's something that the Eagles will be hopefully get a bit of momentum and finish off the rest of this quarter strongly and give them some sort of confidence or something to sort of work on for one more game next week and into the next season.
And home to the Hawks next week, who need to win that one badly, of course, to move up to third spot potentially. Eagles win it in the middle of the ground. Ali Reid caught high, got it off to Tim Kelly, and then Shanahan punched it on the boundary line for a throw in inside 50 as Reid now gets to his feet, feeling his shoulder area, but he seems to be okay.
But we didn't talk about that at the break. Connor Stone going to Reid at the start of that third quarter. Connor Stone did a really good job through the third, and even in the last, he's outworking Harley Reid.
Giants by 41 points. Williams down to Reid, falls to the ground. Long tackle by Graham on Stone. Ash's kick is turned over again. Here's Tim Kelly. Handball to Duggan. Eagles 55 out. Duggan's kick into the pocket. Bouncing ball gathered by Ash. Gets away from Reid and then just chips it into his own defensive goal square, where Himmelberg can take the mark and send it out to the left back pocket for Connor Iden.
London-born, Geelong-raised Connor Iden, his 97th consecutive game as a Giant. As Gabby said earlier, that's the best streak in Giants club history, overtaking Heath Shaw, fellow defender. Here's Himmelberg.
Yeah, they've got the numbers out this side, the Giants. If they can just get this one through, Ash has got it now.
Stone to Lockie Ash, and now Ash does send the kick wide to Taylor, forward of right half back. Goes by hand to Thomas. Options infield here, as it is with Fonte. Fonte evades Duggan, made light work of him, and waits the pass perfectly here for Sam Taylor. The Giants setting up forward of halfway. Thomas gets in space and marks 60 from goal. This will test his distance, and again, they're all inside the arc here if he wants them. Madden in the pocket, ignores that lead. Thomas, the left footer, Sets it up here at full forward. Running start, Grajewski. Cadman crashes the pack. Stringer in the pocket. Pulls it across his body. And Jake Stringer can produce some package magic. If he is on the way out of the Giants, heading for a fourth AFL club, he'll certainly provide the Giants fans with some lasting memories, that's for sure, in his 249th AFL game. And that is, at last, he on the board today as well. The leading goal kicker this year. That's one more to his tally, and the Giants are out again by 47 points. 14-10 plays 6-11, and we've now played 8.5 minutes in this final term on ABC Sport.
Great contest by Cadman there. Flew at it, and that's what you want to see. Just flying at the ball, and Grajewski was in there as well. But the Giants just methodically chipping up, playing what's in front of them, taking the easy one. They just march the ball there all the way up, put it in a dangerous spot, and it scores. And I'm really liking the way they've sort of, it looks like after quarter time, whether it's been spoken about maybe previously in a couple of weeks, it's starting to sort of click with them.
42 goals for Jake Stringer as the Giants win it out of the middle again. That's for the season, of course. Oliver deep into attack, punched away from Grajewski by Dersma. Stringer again, got to keep his feet opposed to Starcevic. Dersma can clear the area. Baker comes out to meet it strongly, taps it out in front of himself, and then Hoff's legs were taken out from him. It's usually a free kick, but play on, says the umpire. Ash handballs it forward, gathered by Angove, straightens up after breaking free of Harley Reid. Cody Angove, it's just across the face from the Claremont product, and the Giants lead is out to 48 points now. 14-11-95, West Coast 6-11-47. The Eagles just one goal since quarter time. That came in this quarter, down to Declan Byrne on the boundary.
Just an update on Reid, who was down in the middle for a while. It was just a sort of right neck issue below his ears, but he's been cleared and he's staying out there.
Big pack grab, Bradley Williams in contest with Briggs. West Coast again work at forward of halfway. Waterman spoiled by Taylor. Himmelberg arrives to it now, shoves away Jack Williams. Little 1-2 punch by him with Connor Stone. Himmelberg does go to find Grajewski, leading up 65 from goal. Grajewski does go to find the lead of Callum Brown. And he's 55 outs. Cadman closer to home, marks in the pocket. He'll be setting up here the left foot up for what may be his third goal of the afternoon.
Is that the Giants' forward line, future forward line? Lead up, hit, bang, bang, bang. That was the three players that have been really impressive today in the forward line. And playing in front and leading and presenting at the ball. I think that's the way forward for him. And that's all three of those players are like that.
Been battling for decent tallies of goals, Aaron Cadman. Kicked 2 last week. On the snap here, he's put it right across the face. Lucky enough just for a minor score. So 2 goals for him still this afternoon. The Giants lead by 48 points on the West Coast Eagles. 11 minutes to go on final term.
Marcus Herbert to bring it back in. Still hasn't signed on at West Coast for next season. It's going to be really interesting. Bounces that in front of Murdoch. Gathered by Starcevic at right half-back. Looping handball to Graham, put him under pressure. And Rouston put the tackle on. So, yeah, Victorian club sniffing around Marcus Herbert. Only wanted a 6-month contract initially. Wasn't really that thrilled about leaving Victoria. Wants to repay the Eagles' faith in him, but not with a long-term deal, and that might tempt Victorian suitors.
With congestion, Jack Graham left the footy behind. Onto it now, McMullen for the Giants. Kicks around the corner and Stringer leads up and drops the mark, but leaves Starcevic in his wake. Takes on Tom Cole, and Tom Cole will get the free kick going his way up, attacking Stringer. And holding the ball, and it's with the West Coast Eagles at right half-back. The Giants do lead by 49 points midway through this final term. It's a little bit cloudier overhead here at the Sydney Showground. Be around the ground score shortly as the West Coast do move it off half-back. Baker shares it now here again with Hoff, and they go inside 50. Murdoch was clobbered down there by Joe Fonte. It arrives inside 50, but will come back here for the Murdoch free kick, 55 from goal.
I thought that was a great run and chase down by Fonte. Just worked super hard, 30-40 metre chase down.
Murdoch wide to Lindsay. Josh Lindsay lets fly from 45 out and hits the posts. A few posters today. The West Coast Eagles. It's not been the difference as far as this 47-point margin or 48-point margin is concerned, but have had a few opportunities missed. The Giants do lead by 48, 13 go on final term.
Whitfield short to Angwin in the left back pocket. Field keeps running, gets it back from Angwin, sweeping handball to Taylor, now to Connor Iden. Now they can run out of half-back, the Orange Tsunami on show. They move it forward, looking for Toby Green. The kick missed its mark, so Starcevic does nicely across half-back to gather it for West Coast. Puts it out in front of Murdoch. Now there's a race on. Murdoch kept his feet and was held without it from McMullen. So has it forward of the wing, Milan Murdoch. Waterman's on a long lead. And took the grab. Harvey Thomas said that he touched that. He looked pretty adamant. Waterman will play on and have a shot on the run from 51 out. Jake Waterman, that's a beautiful effort. His second goal of the game. The Giants lead back to 42 points. He struggles with the set shots in a big way, but on the run, Jake Waterman still deadly. That's his second goal of the game.
Sado's fixed his goal-kicking yips. Just go on the play on, go on the run.
Yeah, well, just take your set shot like you're on the run.
Exactly right. It's interesting with set shot goal kicking. They treat it like a different kick. Like most players out there, if you pick the target 50 metres away, a person, which is like a 30 centimetre square, they can hit it, bang, target. But you put them between the goal, like they miss it because
the psychology of it.
Well, it's you got to kick it as if like you're kicking to someone behind the in the grandstand. Or what I used to do was pick there's always signage around the ground. You pick a letter behind the.
That's what Jason Nussel used to say.
You kick it, aim little, miss little. So they look at the goals as this huge spread and they go, where do you go? But if you actually pinpoint your target, you hit it.
Giants by 42 from the restart. Oliver to Ralston, knocked down there by Duff Tytler. Covered here by the West Coast young gun. Duff Tytler tackled off to Graham. Desperate stuff by Oliver in defence as well, and now knocked away for the West Coast Eagles. Kelly on that bouncing ball, room to move, kicks inside 50. It slides a little shallow there, looking for Harley Reid or similar. Fonte gathers here in defence for the Giants. Cedes some ground here, all the way back to the defensive goal square, and Himmelberg watches it bounce across the face, out of bounds for a throw-in. So a stoppage inside 50 here for the West Coast Eagles. And this little patch of momentum, had a couple of goals in this final term. It's been 2-1 their way. Alas, they still trail by 42 points.
Briggs down to Thomas. That's cleared far too easily from defensive 50 from the Giants. But Tyler Young will take an important defensive mark at centre-half forward for the Eagles as they pushed up the ground. This has been a much better quarter from West Coast. Young's ball into attack, off hands. Oliver gathers it. Gave it to McMullen. Deep in defensive 50 on his non-preferred right boot. That torpedoes out of the area. Big leap from Dersma. Cadman did well to gather it, and that's a clever kick. Under pressure to find Whitfield. Sweeping handball out in front of Callum Brown. Has Herbert opposed to him. Good tackle from Herbert. Forced the turnover. Duggan gathered it. Gave it back to Herbert, but he's under pressure and taken over the boundary line by Thomas. A better defence from West Coast. The Giants were out there. They've still got a 42-point lead.
They were out there, the Giants. Look, if Whitfield just had to kick it up the head, you had Goretzky out front, but gives the handball.
Giants by 42. What was it? What's his name?
Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky.
I'm going to call him Gretzky.
Ralston, inboard here to Oliver. Chain of hand pass here to Lana, off to Callum Brown. Breaks the Duff Tytler tackle. Cadman, loose ball regathers. His kick inside 50 is intercepted by Tom Cole. 40 out from the West Coast defensive goal.
Gee, you're unlucky, Bebbs. It's just because there's not much happening in the game. We've just jumped all over you.
Yeah, I'm struggling there. I'm going to call him Wayne from now on. Wayne Gretzky.
Waiting for Gabriel to call Marcus Herbert, Lucas Herbert or something like that. I don't know. Here goes Duggan. Inside forward 50 for the Eagles. Waterman on the lead of the pockets and does very well.
Play on.
In the contest with Taylor, and Waterman just sort of played into that advertising sign as well. He'll take his set shot from the acute angle to maybe have goal number 3, Jake Waterman.
He almost has to play on, doesn't he, from here? Normally he'd run out and snap this. I don't know if he's got a snap in him, though, Garby, has he?
He's lining up, has it?
He doesn't mind these ones. It's the normal set shot that trouble him. The snaps are actually okay more often than not.
Waterman, he will open up the angle here. Left forward pocket, takes a couple of steps on the snap, and he misses just to the wrong side of the post here for a minor score. 7-13-55 now the Eagles. They trail the Giants 14-12-96, margin 41. We played 17 minutes in this final term, Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Another behind to Jake Waterman for the season. Leads the league by 9 in that category. Not a stat that you want to be leading in. It's a poor turnover by Fonte, marked by McCarthy. West Coast winning this final term. Giants the game, though, by 41 points. Long ball, Dersma with the fly, but Himmelberg had front position. In fact, it was Harley Reid with the fly. Himmelberg took the mark and moved it out wide to Fonte, whose first cousin, Ella Roberts, will run out on the Sydney Showground for the Eagles AFLW team straight after this against the Giants as part of this doubleheader. So the Fonte Roberts family, including the grandmother, as you heard from her in pre-game, her first flight for 20 years has been taken from Perth for this doubleheader to watch her two grandchildren in attendance as West Coast turn it over cheaply in defensive 50, gathered by Cal Brown. He looks for Grzyzewski in the pocket. He drops the chest mark and then turns it over to Lindsay. So a litany of errors from both sides. Bazzo now back to Graham, and Tom Cole has it in the right back pocket.
Premiership winner goes beyond defensive 50 and finds Jack Williams. Some space here for Murdoch on the other side. So Murdoch, of course, out of East Fremantle, goes down the outer wing here to find Harley Reid. He's unmarked as well. Oliver in a very slow trot. Provides no pressure on him. Up inside 50. Taylor in the contest with Waterman. Numbers in defence here for the Giants. Iden to Thomas. His kick picked off, though, by Milan Murdoch. So intercepts here. 48 from attacking goal for West Coast. And a chance of more consolation goals here for McQualter's men.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a good quarter, West Coast. I think the Giants probably turned the ball over a few times to give them that opportunity, but there's been some energy to finish. There's been a lot more movement. I think the game's opened up, which helps, but they're on the move.
SSP pick in his 19th career game, Milan Murdoch. Let's fly here. And tough Tytler flies on the goal line, but it's through hands for a minor score. He won 3 Simpson medals, Milan Murdoch. So he won 2 best on ground in the state game and 1 in the Awful Grand Final 3 square.
It just shows there's some great players out there in the State League, and we'll talk about draft picks and the value of them. I reckon now that the currency of the draft pick can be maybe inflated, and there's some really good players running around the State League.
Mid-season rookies and SSPs and those guys.
Absolutely, there's some really good players. So young fellas out there and young girls, don't be disheartened if you don't get drafted as an 18-year-old. There's plenty of opportunity for you.
Oliver's kick up to the wing, moved forward by Delana. Well done by Jack Graham. He's tried really hard today. Pushed Rouston off the football, won an important contest. Now Bazzo finds Duff Tytler, who marks on his chest. And balls forward to McCarthy, but put him under pressure, really. McCarthy gets around Thomas really nicely and then kicks inside 50. Yoa's front position off his hands, gathered by Liam Duggan, but he's missed a really easy effort on goal for him. He had no pressure applied to him, 35 out, and didn't really get close. So Giants leading by 39 points now. West Coast 7-15-57. Inaccurate yet again. The Giants 14-12-96. We've gone 21 minutes in the final term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. The Giants to stay alive for now in the wild card race, but with very slim hopes.
Yeah, and now it's been marked by Sam Taylor, half back for the Giants. Speaking of that, so midway through the second term at Docklands, Carlton leads the Bulldogs by 7 points. So a tight game there. Up inside the 50 go GWS, and we'll come back here for free kick going Toby Green's way. And so this is at the moment here, because we're all pretty sure that he won't be playing at this club next year. I say this club. It's the club he spent a decade and a half being a part of the fabric of. And this may well be his last appearance at home in the orange and charcoal. And he's lining up here for his 450th career goal. Toby Green, of course, took the mantle for club leading goal kicker from his good mate Jeremy Cameron earlier this year. No Giant has played more games. Whether the fans are aware or not, he may take his last shot for goal here on his home deck, and he misses, of course, after all that. Thanks, Toby. 14-13-97. The West Coast Eagles are 7-15-57. The margin is 40 points. We played 22 minutes in this final term.
It was a lovely build-up there.
Oh,
nice little
theatre.
Yeah,
oh.
yeah. Nice little obituary on the
poetic.
Toby Green at the Giants.
And that was for goal 450 as well. Shanahan hurt in that contest. Slow to get to his feet. The Giants win it on the wing and send it to Whitfield at half-back. Possession number 32 for Whitfield. Ashes 35. Oliver 29. So many injuries to this Giants side, but still so many stars out there. And they've all contributed today. So Iden sends it out wide. Another mark for Whitfield. 28 for Tim Kelly and 26 for Graham. They've tried really hard alongside Harley Reid with 25. Defensively, West Coast have struggled every time the Giants went forward. It's conceded goals far too easily. Ash, now his 36 touch up to Nick Madden. He'll just pump the Giants deep into attack once more. They'll fly for it. Cadman with a big leap, off hands. McCarthy gathers it. And Toby Green with a nice tackle on him. So a ball up right half forward for the Giants, who lead by 40 points.
You've got us across ABC Radio, News Radio and ABC Listen. Off to Essendon versus Sydney next at the MCG. A rare Essendon v Sydney game at the MCG. Of course, the Bombers played the majority of their home games at Docklands. So that's coming up with Lauren Borden, Clint Wheeldon, Brett Delidio, Nathan Burke and Marnie Vinyl. 40 points the margin here in Sydney. As Madden, slick hands, out the tap down there to Cornelio. He's kicking to the goal square, but the traffic is thick. And it's wrapped up for a ball up. 20 out from the goals at the Stadium Australia end. On this fine Sydney afternoon after a wet morning. Madden off to Brown. Stoppage goal here from the Irishman. And he bangs it through for goal number 4. Well, he's done it a fair bit across his Giants career, but it is a glimpse into the forward line function for Adam Kingsley's man. He is a key part of that, Callum Brown. 4 goals for him this afternoon, and the Giants extend their lead back out to 46 points.
He's been great. They've been busy. He's laying tackles, score involvements as well. Like, he's had a really busy game.
Turned 26 yesterday, by the way, Callum Brown.
Yeah. Oh, the players are there, aren't they? Like, yep. I mean, if Hogan, Stringer, Toby Green, if they do go, the only thing that you lose are goal kickers. Now, you've still got Cadman, Brown, Grzewski, still young enough. Goal kickers on their day, but you're taking out a lot of experienced goal-kicking power. But the future is there. It's not like they're going to be left with an empty cupboard, are they?
No, exactly right.
So they'll finish this, and then they'll start barracking for the Western Bulldogs in a massive way. GWS try and beat Carlton and keep those wildcard hopes alive.
Game on too.
Of course, Carlton will still need to lose next week to Freo. And have the Saints lose to the Suns as well, as Cadman comes out full-chested and takes that mark. Airborne. Beautiful leap out in front of his opponent there, Inaret Bazo. And Aaron Cadman can kick for his 3rd goal of the game.
His game's been a bit like the Giants game today. First quarter was a bit, what's going on? Come on, you've got to change the way you're playing. He's got up, he's got mobile, he's leading, presenting, he's busting parks. His game's been very impressive since quarter time.
Really good work from Rouston in the middle of the ground to find Cadman. And Cadman from 40 out, straight in front. Smashes it through for his 3rd. Beautiful kick on the left. This is blowing out a bit now for West Coast. We're over the half century. Giants 16-13, 109. West Coast 7-15, 57. The lead, 52 points now to GWS.
Meanwhile at Docklands, Carlton lead the Dogs by 1 point. So 6-4-40 plays 6-3-39. Just to build or lay the drama for next week as far as what that wildcard situation looks like. But the Dogs, in fact, now have the lead by 5 points on the Blues. So that's the situation for the Giants as far as results outside their control.
He's great to watch when he's up and going, Cadman, isn't he? He's actually quite entertaining because he does get such a run and leap at the footy. He's capable of taking a massive mark. And he just glides, he moves well, he's got a lovely left foot.
52 points, a new game-high lead here, by the way, as well. From the restart, Madden shares it with Cornelio, breaks the Kelly tackle. Hand pass off to Delana, who sends his entry inside 50. It's marked by Connor Stone. You see Delana's celebration during the week because he was denied the chance to celebrate his first career goal because it was on the full-time side of a loss last week, and Stone goes in similar fashion. A long-range goal misses to the left-hand side. So they gave him his celebration at training during the week to say, here's your first goal celebration, Joey.
Got to replay the goal.
Yeah.
Giants by 53. It was a winnable game on paper for West Coast. They looked good in the first term, but they've been battered since then. Duff Tytler wins the free kick, just backward of the wing. Up to half forward. Shanahan and Bailey Williams the targets. Well done, Joe Fonte. The West Australian in front of his family. Really solid again down back. Finds Connor Stone on the wing.
Liked his second half. Reid. It might be he's rolling the team moving forward. Tagger.
Stone coming in because Bedford was laid out, along with Ralston, given more midfield time amid injuries to some of their teammates. Cornelio now guides it forward, and Madden has taken the mark. Strike this from 55 directly in front. Big Nick Madden looking for his first goal in AFL football, so this would be a nice moment for the big man.
Has he got it? Has he got the journey?
He's more than capable. He's a lovely kick of the footy. For a big man, he's highly skilled, and he does love kicking a goal.
Well, his Giants teammates...
Except he hasn't kicked one.
No, sorry. Through growing up in the academy, absolutely.
He's an Osborne boy. It's Adam Schneider.
Yes.
They will go berserk if Nick Madden can kick this. His GWS teammates. 55 out. Good purchase on it. His first goal in AFL football is not there because it hits the post. He gave it a really good look. And that would have been a nice moment to end what's been not the most exciting second half because of the one-way traffic scoreboard-wise.
It's been most of the day as well, beyond a seesawing first term. The Giants will keep their faint wildcard hopes alive for what might be a matter of hours, while the West Coast Eagles are now slumped to 10 straight defeats. On the full-time siren, there's jerseys being grabbed and some arpers there as well. The frustration boiling over here for the West Coast Eagles as the siren sounds to signal a 54-point win for the Giants.
The sound of the mighty Giants. Feel the ground is shaking. The other teams are quaking in their boots before the Giants. We take the longest strides and the highest leap. We're stronger than the rest. We're the greater Western Sydney Giants. We're the biggest and the best. And we will never surrender. We'll fight until the end. We're greater than the rest.
Eventually that fracas does dissipate, so the Giants cap off a 54-point win, so a 9-goal margin in the end. It was a seesawing first term. 4 lead changes. The home side led by 1 point at quarter time, by 34 at half time, 47 at the final change. West Coast didn't kick a goal in the second or third quarters in the end. A wayward Eagles finishing with 7-15-57. The Giants 16-15, 111. Margin of 54 in the end here at the showground.
Well, there's a big, big sound from the west of the town. It's the sound of the mighty Giants. We feel the ground is shaking. The other teams are quaking in their boots before the Giants. We take the longest strides and the highest leap. We're stronger than the rest. We're the greater Western Sydney Giants. We're the biggest and the best. And we will never surrender. We'll fight until the end. We're greater than the rest.
A let a few slip this year, the Giants, but that is win number 10 on the year, which does keep those very faint hopes alive for 10th spots. In the end, 4 goals to Callum Brown, 3 for Aaron Cadman, 2 for Toby Green in what may have been his last home game as a Giant, 2 for Harvey Thomas and Riley Hamilton, singles for Stringer, Grajewski and Cody Angove. Meanwhile, for the West Coast Eagles, in the end it finished up with Waterman 2 goals, 3. Liam Baker kicked 2, both in the first half. Murdoch, Hoff and Cole, the only other goal kickers for the Eagles, with just 7 majors in the game so far. As I said, now 10 defeats for Andrew McQualter's men, who have now lost 4 in a row at the Sydney Showground, and that means they're back at home next week against Hawthorn on Sunday night, the very last game of the AFL home and away season. The Giants will take on the Adelaide Crows at Adelaide Oval on Saturday night. What I do know is that Declan Byrne is in the winners' rooms. We will hear from a Giant at some stage later on. They are forming a guard of honour for the women's team coming out very shortly, so we'll very shortly see Elise Parker, Alicia Eva, Izzy Huntington in her 50th game out there for GWS as they take on Charlie Thomas, Bella Lewis, Ella Roberts and the West Coast Eagles here at the Sydney Showground as game 2 of this doubleheader gets underway. But here it was the Giants by 54 points, and Ryan O'Keefe and Jason Saddington saw it with us here on ABC Sport.
Yeah, look, it was after quarter time. Giants were really good. I think they were very sound in the way we praised the way they moved the ball. That tsunami had gone, which I've been hoping for all season, and the ability to kick mark, and they found space And I think also that was the West Coast pressure just slowly dissipated during the game. But after quarter time, they also shored up their centre bounce clearances and clearance work. So what I was impressed was that the forward line, the way it moved for the Giants, and those young forwards, or those three forwards we talked about. If the speculation is all these other players are leaving, and particularly like Cadman and Brown after quarter time were presenting and being really, really dangerous. So that was really good. Yeah, the other thing I was really impressed with is some of these local talent of Delana. He was really good. Had spent some time up there. Hamilton was good, and then the other one who went to Harley Reid was Connor Stone, and I thought he was super impressive. So the players are there, as you said during the call, Sado, that if some of these players do move on for whatever reason, there's still enough players in the stable to be able to be a good side for next year. So I think there's some stuff to work on for the Giants.
No, absolutely, and you see glimpses of that. I mean, there's plenty of cattle there for the Giants, and the replacements are there. You know, you think about players that are getting on in their career. They've been here the whole time for the Giants. Like a Lockie Whitfield was an example, halfback. He was terrific again today and continues to play well for them. But, you know, with Joe Fonte, someone that's going to take that mantle, and they'll be fine. You know, you're just losing experience. You mentioned the forward line. You know, if Stringer and Hogan and Toby Green do go, then we saw today Cal Brown was excellent. I know you're really happy with his game. You know, Cadman, once he got up the ground, he was terrific and great to watch. Had more influence than probably what the stats sheet says. You know, and Grzelewski leading and marking the footy. So it's all there for the Giants. And one thing that they do miss still is that midfield. But again, you think Callaghan, Tom Green come back into that. So it's all still there for them, whether some of these experienced players go. And they've showed that today. I mean, today, going back to the game, today, they're very clinical in what they had to do. They did move the ball better, as suggested, from quarter time onwards. And, you know, they got the job done, and there was some good passages of play there for them. West Coast, yeah, look, I mean, it's a battle. They were terrific in the first quarter. Their pressure was great. They probably dropped off. And the other thing they struggled with was going inside 50 and being able to hit the scoreboard. They kicked many behinds, which doesn't help. But, you know, Shanahan's obviously got a future. You know, Waterman's been great, but just can't kick straight at times.
And I think Bailey Williams in the ruck. He's
terrific player.
He's a terrific player. So then you've obviously got Harley Reid.
Yep. You know, Dersman's struggled. It's a long end of the year. He was, you know, no impact today at all. But, you know, there's bits there for West Coast as well. And, you know, they've just got to keep building on that list, I think, and keep growing their game. And
I think they need to build that middle tier of the list. You know, those, you know, they've got some good top-end players, but what's that next level, you know, the grunt, you know, the meat and potatoes sort of players, get some of them that are going to be consistent and help take some of the pressure off these younger players with super talent.
Just to pause there for a second, this is a nice moment as the Giants women make their way out. There's a good friend, Alicia Eva, down there, and it's great that the Giants men form that guard of honour, as the Eagles side will as well for their team as part of that AFLW Round 1 game. So on those things happening elsewhere, I'll mention the game at Docklands firstly. Half-time there, the Dogs lead Carlton by 5 points, so 7-4-46 to 6-5-41. Half-time there at Docklands. In the AFLW, it's just gone full-time in Coburn, and Port Adelaide have beaten Fremantle 6-5-41 to 2-8-20. So that is what's happened there. Earlier today, there were results for Brisbane over Essendon by 48 points, and Sydney beat Adelaide by 8 points at Unley. A reminder, we're off to the MCG next for Essendon versus Sydney with Lauren Borden and Clint Wheeldon, with Brett Delidio, Nathan Burke and Marnie Vinyl on the call there as well. Only a few moments left here, though, Brian O'Keefe. Do you want to give us your 3 best players? Because unlike the AFL, we actually count every game for our... Even though our award has been won by Nick Dacos like 3 weeks ago, and I think most of the awards probably have been as well.
Like the All-Australian, right? Let's pick it 3 weeks ago.
Well, no, we do 3-2-1, of course, which is why I'm asking you for that, but that has been... So I don't think we know now that Nick Dacos will win most of the awards this year, including the ABC Footballer of the Year. But who are your 3 best today?
Look, I think there was a really good spread for the Giants, and you could have given it to a number of players, but I'm giving one to Carl Brown. Kicked 4 goals. He was busy. He's putting defensive pressure on, doing a lot of things off the ball. I'm going 2 votes for one of the most underrated players in the comps, Connor Idun. I think, down back, I think he had 24, 25 touches, a lot of rebounds, and just a solid. He very rarely gets beaten one-on-one. He's just as I said during the call, he's a player that he's magnet to go bang straight away. You wouldn't even think about it. And as much as this player frustrates me when he gets the ball, but Lockie Ash, three votes. I thought, chunks of the game when he keeps the ball simple and long and direct, he's a damaging player. Just got to get that other stuff out of his
If you're going to turn it over, you might as well kick it long and turn it over further down there than.
But he did it when he did that. You know what I mean? It's when he tries to pin something that's not on. But anyway, he was. I thought he was really good.
So 3 to Ash, 2 to Idun.
1 to
Brown. Callum Brown, and the ABC Player of the Year, as adjudicated by Ryan O'Keefe. So thank you for that, Ryan. The Giants, with their 10th win of the year, are now waiting for all manner of results to go their way to see if they are some faint hope of sliding into a wildcard spot, and maybe that will go on to next year and build that drama in round 24 next week, Garby.
West Coast 10th loss in a row. So it looked pretty promising at the halfway mark of the season. They've been really competitive, but that's now started to mount, that loss rate, and they've got to put in a strong performance against Hawthorn next week, because the speculation around Andrew McWalter heading into his last year of his contract is going to start building.
They're at home against the Hawks next week, while the Giants are away to Adelaide on Saturday night at Adelaide Oval. Let's head into the Giants' rooms, which is where we find Declan Byrne.
Yeah, they've just come in. Just circling up. It was a hot changeover. The AFLW team were warming up in here for moments before they ran out. The music was blaring, but the boys have all come in. They're all grabbing their kids. Did Toby Green grab his little girl? No, he's not going to. Looking into every possible little sign that means way too much. But they are circling up, and they're ready to sing the song. Big 54-point victory in their last home game of the year. Here it is.
Giants by 54 here, and I don't want to dampen the situation for the Giants, but whether they're prepared to admit it or not, the Giants fans could well be, I dare say it will have been, the last home game for Toby Green and a few others in the orange, charcoal and white. Just a note on that last little melee there, or that little bit of biff on the siren. Jake Stringer gave Milan Murdoch a bit of a light slap across the face on the siren, so that's what started the biff there, which happened as we're saying goodbye on the full-time siren. Giants by 54 points here. Thank you, Ryan O'Keefe. We'll see you next week at the SCG.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Sato, for your efforts across the season as always.
Yeah, loved it. Always do. Good luck next weekend.
Thank you to Declan Byrne. We'll get some reaction from the Giants' rooms very shortly. To Daniel Garb, as always. To the cult figure Adam Jones. To the Joe Fonte and Ella Roberts families as well here with us at the Sydney Showground. And, of course, to you, most importantly, for your company. Heading off next to the MCG for Essendon versus Sydney as your Sunday of footy continues right here on ABC Sport.
Find out which songs mean so much to Lainey Wilson, David Byrne and Jacinda Ardern in brand new Take 5 with me, Zan Rowe.
Best thing you'll ever hear.
Starts Thursday, August 20 on ABC TV and ABC